Happy New Year, everyone, to 2026. We're going to do our Week 18 NFL picks against the spread video in honor of New Year's Eve. So as the ball drops, we'll probably be on the third game or so, maybe the second game. So we'll see
If we're if
how
we're if we're even started by then,
Right,
we never know.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So the college football game just ended. So I feel like that's good timing here. So before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, wearing something from the merch store. It is our world famous money laundering T-shirt, which got rave reviews when I was walking around in Vegas. Everyone loved the shirt. So if you want that sort of attention, you could buy this shirt as well as everything else in the merch store. We have 15% off sale. You can change the colors of everything. You can get long sleeve, hoodie, women's tank top, infant onesie. We have everything. We have mugs. We have our famous apron. We have our baseball cap. We have a lot of stuff here, and we're going to add more in the coming few weeks. You go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people at Penn State. So that was a lot of fun to write. And then The Safety and the Field Goal is the first book, which is like top 5 topic book about the NFL. And also, please consider super chats and super stickers. That's the best way to support the show. I keep saying Q1 is coming. Q1 is coming, kind of like Ned Stark saying winter is coming. Well, Q1 is officially 1 hour away on the East Coast. So we could certainly use your help because Q1, for those that don't know, no one spends any ad money in Q1, so the ad rates are going to plummet here. So
I assume that stands for quarter one.
Quarter one, yeah, the fiscal year. So that's January 1st through March 31st. So pretty brutal times for the ad industry. So if you guys want to help us out and keep the show going, that's the best way to do it. Super chat, super stickers. So, all right, we're joined by Andy Iskoe from thelogicalapproach.com. Andy, how are you? And Happy New Year to you. And how was your week 17?
Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you, Walt, and to all our viewers and listeners. And let's see, it's about 8 o'clock here. So if you asked me that in about 4 or 5 hours, I could have said, gee, I don't remember. It was last year. But it was actually only last week for me at this point. It was a so-so week. There were good highlights and bad highlights, and got caught up in a couple of those exciting games. Was on the right side of some, the wrong side of others, but a decent week overall. And they had in some decent college football games, like including the one tonight that we just witnessed. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I don't know how much I'm looking forward to week 18 because of so many meaningless games, and you do use a lot of different handicapping. In fact, fundamentals and matchups really don't matter as much as who's playing and who's not playing and what kind of effort they're going to give. I assume that most of the players who do play will give pretty good efforts, because if you don't go full speed, full strength, you risk a lot of injuries. And that's not the way you want to end your season, especially those teams not going to the playoffs and have to sit through, as you say, Q1 with an injury that was needlessly taken. But still a lot of good games, a lot of things that will affect not necessarily who makes the playoffs. There are only 2 spots open as far as making the field. The Baltimore-Pittsburgh game will decide the AFC North winner. Winner wins and the loser goes home. And it's not really the same in the NFC South because of the Atlanta-New Orleans game. But basically, if Carolina wins, they're in. If Tampa Bay wins, it may not be enough, depending upon what happens. Otherwise, the only other things that are at stake, and I'm not quite sure how significant they are, other than perhaps the number 1 seed. We know it'll go to either San Francisco or Seattle in the NFC. Although I'm not quite sure what happens if the game ends up in a tie. I guess that'd still be the same, depending upon. I don't know if Chicago could get in there, or the Rams. But of course in the AFC, if Denver wins, they're number 1. If they lose, it could be New England or Jacksonville. And I think Jacksonville would hold a tiebreaker in a 3-way tie over New England and Denver, if I recall. But other than that, the 12 teams that are already in the playoffs will be playing for seeding. There may be even Buffalo, who's seeded number 7 in the AFC, I believe can move up to number 5 if Houston and the Chargers both lose. So a lot to be decided. But then again, you've got some of the games like the Saints and the Falcons won't have any bearing on their game. But the Packers and the Vikings, I don't think will affect any of the seedings there either.
Yeah, I mean, there's some games that obviously mean a lot. There's some games that mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I always like that dichotomy in week 18. Week 18 is a very weird week. I feel like you need to kind of know how to handicap it correctly, or you could just get buried. So, and what you said is correct. You know, some
It's
guys
by
will
the
be
by the
trying
way,
hard. Yeah.
it's probably more difficult to handicap than week one. Week
Yes.
one, you don't know what you have, but at least you know the players are playing and they're trying to get off to a good start. Here, you don't know who's running for the bus.
That's true. Yeah, there, like you said, there are going to be some players who are going to play hard. There will be some players who are like, "Oh, I can't wait to get to insert tropical island
Yeah.
location." So they're already looking forward to vacation. Some of them. So we'll see who does what, and we're trying to handicap it our best here. So can't wait to get into it. Sue says we had Chinese food tonight. It's not good. In fact, my wife threw one of the dishes in the trash. Walt was right.
Oh, what
Yeah,
did you say, Walt?
I'm not a fan of Chinese food.
Oh,
I don't like it. So like the thing is, the couple things. First of all, I don't like any sauces or weird things I can't see. So if like there's something inside something, I just don't like it. You know, egg rolls. I can't do egg rolls, for example, because I just don't know what's inside. And then second, I feel like there's some Chinese food that's good, like General So I think is good, but like for some reason it just has like severe diminishing returns. Like I'll have like the first few bites are great, and then like by bite six, I'm like, this kind of tastes like sawdust. I don't want this anymore. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. It's doesn't matter where I get the Chinese food. It's all the same. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather have pretty
I
much anything
enjoy
else.
Chinese food. In fact, the other day I had a yen for some Chinese food, and I satisfied it.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, my wife loves it. So she always says she's like, "Oh, I want Chinese food." I'm like, "Okay, I'll get a cheesesteak." She's like, "No, you have to get Chinese food with me because." So like, I'm always getting stuck with it. I Panda Express. The teriyaki chicken's pretty good.
Yeah, I like teriyaki chicken there. Yeah, but I also like a lot of mom and pop Chinese restaurants. We have a lot of those here in Vegas
Yeah, we have
because
we have
we have a
yeah.
pretty big Chinese population.
Yeah, yeah, we do too. There's my wife likes this restaurant called Temple Garden. I think it's called Temple Garden. It's right down the road. Um, and that is the location where the woman wanted to charge me for a second lollipop, where I took the second lollipop from the tin,
Oh,
and
gee.
she she was angry because I wanted one for my son. She's like, "I'm gonna have to charge you next time." So we'll
Oh,
see if she remembers. Hopefully, she doesn't charge me
in,
an
in
extra
other
like
words, the
30
one for
cents.
you was free. The one for the son was the pricey one. Was the one that got charged for,
Well,
as opposed to the other way around.
one was for my daughter and one was for my
Oh,
son.
oh,
And
okay.
I said, "Oh, I have a son at home." She's like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, sure." She's like, "Came with only my daughter." Like she didn't believe it. Like, got a second child. So, but like, if I didn't bring a second lollipop home, my son would have had it fit. So I had to do it. I had no choice. So yeah. We have a large Chumang population here. They make amazing spring rolls. Yeah, I'm not into that. I just don't like that sort of
Yeah, no,
food. So
I like spring rolls and egg rolls and veggie rolls.
yeah, I like Italian and
The meat.
Mexican.
Yeah,
Yeah, Italian,
I'm not big
Mexican.
on Mexican. Italian, I love.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We have. I feel like it depends on what sort of Mexican you have. There's this.
I'm not into a lot of cheesy. I mean, pizza's okay, but cheesy and uh, beans and things like that.
Oh, I love it. I love it
Just
so
the
much.
texture, the taste and the texture. For some reason, to me, don't taste like what it should taste like based upon what it looks, which is very
Mhm.
appetizing. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like. I feel like a lot of bad Mexican, like I feel like Chipotle is not very good. But
I think they've rehabbed their image quite a bit in the last two,
They,
3 years.
they have. I guess it's to be fair. Yeah, I haven't eaten there in a while, so it might be better now. But there's this Mexican restaurant near me. It's called La Hacienda. No one in there speaks English. Like they're all Mexican, and it is amazing. It's such great genuine Mexican food. It's
Mm.
so good compared to Chipotle, for example, but Chipotle from the past. To be fair, my son hates pizza. Wow, I've never heard of a kid hating pizza. That's crazy.
I
Um,
did not like pizza for the first
okay.
18 years of my life, and
Wow.
When I was at Penn in Philadelphia, I was hungry one day on a Saturday. I was in Center City, and I think it was a Saturday, may have been a Sunday, and the only place that I could find that was open that you didn't have to wait forever was a place called King of Pizza. I want to say it was
Okay.
on Market Street, maybe it was Walnut Street, and they said, Being from New York, it was interesting because they said we sell New York style pizza, and I was starved, so I said I got to go eat it because I got to get something in my mouth. I
Mm-hmm.
tasted, I liked it. It was like Mikey in the cereal commercial. He likes it. He likes it. And if you can tell from my gut, I have liked it ever since.
Why didn't you like pizza when you were a kid? Like what? Just the
I don't know. I
texture or
just didn't.
taste or what?
I don't know what it was. It was probably a combination of the two. But because I didn't eat it for so many years, I had forgotten what the taste was like. And tastes
Wow.
change as
Yeah.
as you grow up and experience more things. And for me, it was pizza.
Yeah, so maybe it's the type of pizza you had. Like I've had
Could
disgusting
be.
pizza before. There's this place near me, near my parents' house. They have like they ordered from there once, and I was like, it almost made me like barf. It was so bad, and like like for me, if this is my first time ever eating pizza, like what is this garbage? I'll never eat it. So maybe you just had a bad experience there. Maybe
It
Butter's
could be.
son had the same thing.
I was
Um,
always going for hamburgers.
Oh yeah, I love those too.
Yeah.
Has to be plain though. No. I like ketchup in there, but no mustard, no mayo, no weird sauces.
I grew up and I always learned ketchup on hamburgers, mustard on hot dogs.
See,
I don't know
I'm
if that's a New York thing or
I see. I don't like mustard either. I like ketchup on burgers, sure. But either ketchup or cheese on hot dogs for me.
oh, I've
Um,
never had cheese on hot dogs.
Oh, it's so good, so good. Like either like just slice of cheese or like melted. It's gonna be melted, but or like either cheese whiz or something like that.
Oh.
Like
I
it
like
is
cheese
fantastic.
puffs.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's
I'll go
amazing.
through a couple of bags tomorrow of them.
Nice. I should. I don't have any right now. I have. I might have some Doritos here. Maybe. Yeah, I have some Doritos here. This
I
show's
think
not
that's
sponsored.
I think that's the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, you're right.
The,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Doritos.
We're not sponsored by Doritos, by the way, but we could be
Yeah.
Doritos if you're watching.
I
Uh,
love Doritos. Are you listening to that, Mr. Executive? We love Doritos.
yes, yeah. He's waiting for the ball to drop. He's
I
watching
especially love them in Q1.
Yes, absolutely. We need all the help we can get. This is our week 19 pick show is going to be sponsored by the Doritos. You'll see. All right, let's get to the games here. We have 16 games to talk about. We have 2 on Saturday, and we have the remaining on Sunday, including Sunday Night Football. But first game, Panthers at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are favored.
By the way,
yeah,
I'm going to just ask you this. They
Mhm.
flexed 3 games for, on Sunday. They were all originally going to be, in the early window and late window. Which would you have liked to have seen as being the final game of the season? The Pittsburgh-Baltimore game? I'm going to throw out the Carolina-Tampa Bay game. I mean, I understand it on Saturday because it is a significant game and could we may or may not know who wins the NFC South if Tampa Bay wins the game and they both end up at 8-9 and it goes to the game. But I would have preferred the Sunday night game to be for the number 1 seed in the NFC between Seattle and San Francisco, and let the Saturday night game be that Pittsburgh-Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that it's obviously more impactful who's the number 1 seed rather than who's the number 4 seed and might lose in the first round. So,
well, now the reason I can understand it is because Seattle and San Francisco are both in the playoffs, but it does determine who gets to host every game that they play in the playoffs, and that's San Francisco, which also could mean they could be playing the Super Bowl in their home stadium, which is kind of unique also, as opposed to the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game where the winner advances as a number 4 seed in the AFC and the loser goes home.
Yeah, it's like almost feels anticlimactic. They get the 4 seed, but they might be underdogs to the 5 seed depending on which team is the 5 seed. So it's especially if the Steelers are gonna be underdogs to everyone probably. So I agree with you. I think
I don't know if they'd be underdog. Would they be underdog to the Chargers?
Maybe. I mean,
I think they might. I think they might be if it were Houston.
Yes, I think so too.
Buffalo. Well, Buffalo would be interesting.
Well, Buffalo's what?
Considering they're number
3.
7 right now. They're number 7 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The seat 7, and I believe if they win against the Jets, well, that's an interesting game. We'll talk about that. But if the Chargers and Texans lose, and the Bills win, I think the Bills jump over both of them to the number 5.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh was, I think Pittsburgh would very much enjoy playing that game. As a matter of fact, so would Baltimore, because they played that 41-40 game back at the first Sunday night of the season. So that's maybe that's another good reason for that to be the Sunday night game.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like Pittsburgh would hate for Buffalo to come to town. Buffalo destroyed them a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. No, but I would think they would relish the opportunity to play him in a game that has the greatest meaning you could have.
Oh, revenge. Okay, yeah, maybe.
No, not revenge. I mean, it's just because, okay, you beat us in the regular season. We want to win the game that knocks you out and gets us going forward.
Yeah. So retribution maybe. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I do think Buffalo would be favored. That Buffalo was -3 last time in Pittsburgh. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think that Buffalo would want to go to Baltimore though, because that feels like such a tough
matchup. Except we don't know. By the way, we'll get to it, but John Harbaugh realized that Derrick Henry is eligible to play both halves.
Right.
But Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Who would you trust more? Based on how they've played this year, the majority of the year for both of them.
Yeah.
Including Jackson when he's healthy.
Right. But Jackson may not be healthy, so you'd have to take Josh Allen in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's but then again, you don't know. Like maybe Lamar Jackson will suddenly be healthy for the playoffs. It's just you never know with these.
Just have to wonder why he has not run this year.
Yeah.
There must be some injury that nobody has talked about.
Yeah, that's certainly
that doesn't hurt his ability to play. It just hurts his ability. Maybe it's a hamstring or something. Maybe there's a slight tear or something there that doesn't prevent him from playing, or maybe the doctors determine it can't get any worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that you just protect it.
Yeah, he wasn't even running that much before the injury that he suffered.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That the injury may have been an aggravation of a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. There's been something wrong with him the whole year, running wise. So, I can't wait to watch what unfolds. It's gonna be awesome. So, the first game, and by the way, I mean, I've been pointing this out to me before anyone. I don't know if he's listening, but as you also mentioned this, the Panthers-Buccaneers game may not be for the NFC South winner. The Panthers could lose and still win the division if Atlanta wins. And so Evan was like, why is this game before the Atlanta-New Orleans game? And I was like, I kind of, I was like, initially I was like, yeah, why don't they put that first? But if Atlanta wins, then
if Atlanta wins, then Tampa Bay, then Carolina can't win.
Right. Then Carolina could rest the starters.
Unless Carolina would have to win the game.
If
Carolina
wins.
If Atlanta wins, if Carolina wins Saturday night, it doesn't matter what Tampa does. If Tampa wins on Saturday, that's when the Atlanta-New Orleans games comes into effect. Because right now Carolina's a game ahead of Tampa.
Yes. So
if Tampa wins, they would then both be 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if Atlanta wins, they're also 8 and 9.
Yep.
And I think as a result of the three-way tie, Tampa Bay wins, I think, because of best record amongst those three teams. Ignoring what each team did against New Orleans because they're not involved in the tie, I think Tampa Bay would get the nod.
I'm pretty sure it's Carolina that would get the nod. I'm going to make sure we put it in here. You
know what? I think you are right. Yeah, if Tampa wins and Atlanta wins,
it's going to be Carolina at the 4th seed.
Yeah, because it'd be as they all three would be 8 and 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had Atlanta and New Orleans first, then if Atlanta won, the Panthers could rest their starters. So yeah. I initially was like, why is this game first? But yeah, it makes more sense that way. So it makes a lot of sense to do this initially. So they ended up getting right, even though I thought that was a mistake. But anyway, let's talk about the game, right? So the Panthers are at the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are -2.5. It was 3 earlier. Yeah. So I guess some sharp money took this down, I guess. it's so hard to back the Buccaneers now. They were 6-2. They are now 7-9. So
Yeah.
the only team they've beaten since they were 6-2 was Arizona by 3 points, and we've seen Arizona get blown out by everyone after that. So like, how do you trust this Tampa team that Tristan Wirfs is he missed last week's game. He was limited today, which is good news, but still Baker Mayfield's on the injury report. He was limited on Tuesday, so he's still dealing with an injury. He's not healthy.
If both are healthy, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield is not healthy, I'd rather have Atlanta, because I think Bryce Young and Baker Mayfield, it goes to Baker Mayfield. But if you take Mayfield out of the equation and you take a look at the running backs and the receivers, maybe you give Atlanta the advantage because of those positions.
Atlanta? You mean?
I'm sorry, Carolina.
Yeah. I think Tampa is the better team if Mayfield's healthy, but he's not healthy, so you can't really trust that. Tampa's defense has also been awful. Like they're ranked 30th since the midway point of the season, and they can't get the pressure on the quarterback. They have been weak to the run. Feels like the Panthers are the better team right now, so I'm inclined to take Carolina at 2.5. But now that the 3's gone, I'm not as excited about this game. So this is a non-play for me, but Carolina for office pool purposes. How do you feel about this game?
Well, I would probably play Tampa Bay at 2.5. I would probably play the Panthers at 3.
That's fair.
I mean, you do wonder, is Tampa Bay able? I mean, they've been in this situation for weeks. How can they get out of this losing culture that they have? How are we going to lose today?
Yeah.
Because some of those games they had late leads and they couldn't hold them.
Yeah.
I mean, I take a look at. Let me see where the numbers are here, because they're pretty ugly. Not the ugliest I'm going to talk about tonight, but they are pretty ugly. When I look at, just even looking at the standings, and you look at the NFC South,
it's just
the New Orleans Saints, by the way, are now outscored by only 75 points this year. Okay, with their nice recent play.
Yeah.
Atlanta's outscored by 50. Tampa Bay outscored by 33. And right behind the Saints, who are minus 75, Carolina's outscored by 67.
Do you know? I looked this up. Do you know the team with the worst point differential ever to make the playoffs?
No.
It is the 1940 Washington Redskins. They were negative 70. So Carolina was
that the year they went on and won everything?
The 1940 NFL season. I don't know what happened. Let me see.
I know they won one game like 73-0. Or maybe they lost 73-0 to Chicago.
In the NFL championship they lost 73-0 to the Chicago Bears.
It was that year where Washington.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. They were 9-2. Wow. They had a negative 70 point differential. They were 9-2 somehow.
I wonder if that 90 negative differential includes that championship game.
It probably does, doesn't it?
Which it shouldn't, because regular season stands apart. But I guess if you want to say, what team won the wasn't the Super Bowl? What team won the NFL championship yet was outscored by 93 points? Who lost the championship game but was outscored by 92 points, whatever it was.
You're right. It is included because their only 2 losses were by 2 and 14 points.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of close wins though during the regular season, so that would explain why that 73-0 gave them a negative 70. That's pretty wild. I
think I read that only one other division, I think, since they have the current division set up, had all 4 teams with minus point differentials.
Yeah, so the Panthers would be the team with the worst point differential to ever make the playoffs if they get in with this negative 67. So, and it's not even close after that. It's like negative 40 or negative 50 after that. So it's
you mean the last team who had a negative point differential?
It's
close. It's not close to the Panthers.
Yeah, so the chart I was looking at, the Washington Redskins from 1940, they were number 1, and then now we know it includes the playoffs. But the number 2 team was like negative 45 or negative 50 or something like that. So unless the Panthers win by like 20, and then they're going to be the worst team ever to make the playoffs. So So it's pretty sad. So you're halfway either way, depending on what the line
I
is.
think I would lean a little bit more towards Tampa Bay. Uh, again, Tampa Bay also won a lot of close games. I don't remember. Has Tampa Bay gotten blown out this year more than maybe once?
Let's look at the results. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have I mean they've lost poorly to the good teams. So
I mean, I'm
they
looking
lost,
at their last game. Lose by 3, lose
yeah,
by 3, lose by 1, lose by 4. So four of
yeah,
their last 4 games.
yeah.
Then they won a
got
game by 3. They got blown out by the Rams,
the Rams,
34-7. Lost by 12 at Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Lost by 5. Won by 20. Lost by 15 at Detroit.
15, yeah.
Yeah, won by 11 against the 49ers. Won by 3 at Seattle. Lost by 6 to the Eagles. Won by 2 and won by 1 and won by 3 to start the season. So they've had a lot of very close wins and losses, blowouts. I mean, look, you look at those last 4 games: -4, -9. I'm sorry, -4, -1, -3, -3. So that's what 4-1. That's 11. They lost their last 4 games by the total of 11 points. If they win 2 of those games instead of 7 and 9, they're 9 and 7. But they're losses.
Yeah.
They count.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 came at the end at home to the Saints and the Falcons, so they could have won those games as well. But they lost. So you have to wonder if there's like a negative cloud hanging over them.
You wonder. Yeah, you wonder they're up by 4 with 3 minutes to play, and Carolina's got the ball, needing a touchdown, and the Bucks wonder, can we hold them out of the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to go for a field goal down by 4. So, maybe the mindset is, it's one thing if it happened like last week and maybe 4 weeks earlier, bro, that you're losing these close games. You almost have, it's human nature to at least have some doubts.
Yeah. You have to be wondering, like, oh, how are we going to blow this time?
Yeah.
Or here we go again. So. Yeah, I definitely hear that. Cassandra's saying Rich Samini reporting that Glenn thinks Brady Cook gives the Jets the best chance to win this week. Best chance to win a good draft pick? Is that what
No, he must be talking about the running back Cook for Buffalo. He's going to fumble. He's going to fumble 5 times, and they're just to recover all 5.
They'll pay him to be a double agent or something. Maybe that'll be it. So
I still can't. Well, we'll get to that game, but I still can't believe that the Jets have not had an interception all year, and they've only recovered 4 fumbles.
It's crazy.
That's historic. Yeah, I read that this is, and I don't even know how close it is, but it's the furthest that a team has gone into the season. Obviously, 16 games is a full season before the last few years without getting a defense. Without the defense getting a turnover.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I don't know. And you'd think that an Aaron Glenn team would play better defense, but obviously not. They have not.
Yeah. Okay, well, and not only that, and I was reading it again about it in the Post today that they were talking about Aaron Glenn who was defense, and yet they trade their 2 best defenders who are not quite yet at the prime of their careers at the trade deadline.
Yep. Although I think I still think the stat is correct. Sauce Gardner was 1-7 when he was traded to the Colts, and then with the Colts he's 1-7 as well. Yeah. So it's funny how that works. Anyway, we get the Saturday night game, Seahawks at the 49ers.
Trade them to the Chiefs just to make sure next year they don't return.
Yep. That's a good strategy. So talk about double agents there. Seahawks at the 49ers. Seahawks are favored by 1.5. The Niners opened as favorites, but Seattle has moved to being a favorite here. Everyone's talking about how San Francisco's offense is incredible. And they're like, they had that cool stat. They didn't punt until the Bears game. They did twice, but they didn't punt in December. And I'm thinking like, okay, wow, who'd they play? And it's like, oh, the Colts can't stop anyone. The Titans can't stop anyone. It's like, okay, that's still, they had some good performances offensively, but now this is a big step up in class. Like Seattle's.
Well, this is somewhat a simple handicap, but it depends upon which side you fall on. Seattle has the better numbers, no question about it. San Francisco has just been playing. They've been able to overcome Bad defensive. I'm going to say last week's defensive effort was as much a part of the fact that just the way that game unfolded, trading scores. You have games like that throughout the year, just like you have 10-7 games.
Mm-hmm.
But San Francisco have been able to play through the injuries, and they seem to find a way to win. And they certainly have a huge experience edge against a Seattle team that was last in the playoffs a few years ago. Although they were 10-7 last year and missed it because of tiebreaker. So, if you go on the numbers and the fundamentals, you probably like Seattle. If you place a lot of emphasis on experience and the intangibles and the home field, you probably go with the 49ers, because the 49ers have shown, regardless of the competition, they've been able to play through those defensive injuries and offensive injuries. Remember, Brock Purdy missed a number of games, although Mac Jones filled in nicely for him. But Kittle's been out a little bit. Other guys have been out for them. And Ayuk hasn't played all season or something. Now he's probably panhandling somewhere before he gets signed with a team in the offseason. But I think that's the handicap in this game. I happen to like the 49ers in this game, but I understand the move. I understand the line move.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be on Seattle. I think this is a big step up in competition for the 49ers as far as defensive matchups are concerned, because, you had the Bears, who are just they're not good defensively. Titans, as I said, bad defensively. And so I think that stopping or just scoring against Seattle is going to be far more difficult, especially.
I would agree with you, except forgetting what he did as offensive coordinator with Atlanta, because I don't know how much of that was his fault. Shanahan's been a really, really good offensive coach since he's been head coach.
Yeah, I've noticed that
he can match wits with Johnson.
I think when Kyle Shanahan has a matchup he can exploit, the Niners are like almost unstoppable offensively. But when he has there's no matchups to exploit with Seattle's defense. Seattle's defense is ranked number 1 in the NFL for a reason. When he doesn't have a great matchup to exploit, it feels like the Niners kind of bungle around offensively. They don't do anything. They settle for field goals. Evan always talks about how they always settle for field goals, in these tough matchups. I really don't think San Francisco is going to score much in this game, especially if Trent Williams is out. Not having him didn't matter too much against a Chicago team that has no pass rush. Against Seattle, it's going to mean a lot if he's out. So that's pretty tough. Also, McCaffrey has an alien.
By the
way,
I like this comment. Old school. I'm not betting the flip. You have to ask yourself, why did the lines makers make the 49ers 1.5-point favorites, expecting money to come in on San Francisco?
San Francisco or Seattle? Seattle, right?
No, money coming in on. They opened at 1.5 San Francisco. It's now Seattle favored. And you had to figure, if this game opened pick'em, you figured money will be coming in on San Francisco. They're an unknown team. Last year was a bad year for them because they couldn't overcome the injuries. McCaffrey missed basically the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago with basically the same roster. Okay.
Yeah.
Now maybe the Trent Williams situation also. Why would the lines makers are not in the business of giving away money? So I think when they opened the 49ers, they were hoping to get Seattle money, but expecting San Francisco money.
Yeah, and they got the San Francisco money, as you said.
No, they got the Seattle money, because the line went from San Francisco 1.5 to Seattle 1.5.
Right, but there's more there are more bets on San Francisco than Seattle, but there's more money on Seattle than San Francisco.
Yeah. So. Well, and then the books don't care how many bets.
Right.
They care where the money is.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah.
And by the way, and I can understand the money coming in on Seattle because, again, the stats, the numbers, the power rankings all favor Seattle, even on the road.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Evan says, Happy New Year. Kyle Shanahan will still punt on 4th and 2 from the 43. Couldn't believe that. You couldn't believe he did that because he believes in the defense. Yeah. Speaking of the defense, San Francisco defense, I think of the 4 units in this game, I think by far the worst one. They have no pass rush whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they struggle to cover the middle of the field with Fred Warner out. Now, maybe Fred Warner can return in the playoffs, but he's not going to be playing this game, and they're still not going to have pass rush to rattle Sam Darnold. So I do like Seattle.
You just mentioned the key name,
Sam Darnold, but there's no pass rush to rattle him. He needs a pass rush to melt down. He doesn't melt down in these sort of games.
He can melt down if the coverage is good and he forces things.
Yeah, but has the coverage been good for San
It-
Francisco? They couldn't stop Caleb Williams last week.
that's one game.
They haven't stopped anyone all year.
Well,
Like
they've been
Cam
okay.
Ward had one of his best games against them. This team is so bad defensively, and they have nothing going on. They can't do anything. So, uh, Kyle would punt if his wife and kids are on defense. He loves nothing more than kicking. It's true. It's 100% true. But you like San Francisco here, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And San Francisco's no coverage and no pass rush. Yeah, their run defense is not bad, but their no coverage, no pass rush. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they didn't touch Cam Ward. Cam Ward holds the ball longer than any other quarterback in the NFL. They didn't sack him once. Really
How do they have the same record as Seattle? Played basically the same schedule.
Well, no, they played a much easier schedule.
They did because they finished third or fourth last year in the division.
Yeah, they
fourth, I think.
Yeah, so they had like four. That's
only a 2-game difference on the schedule.
Isn't it? That's at least 3 games, right?
3 games, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, they're coached really well. They have a really good offense. But they're just not that good defensively. A 4th place schedule, yeah. Brissett passed 57 times.
4th place schedule. That's 4th place schedule is only 2 games difference. As far as that goes, it's a 3-game, but it's a 2-game difference within your conference.
Yeah, and then the
3rd game is your interconference foe, where they play the 4th place team, and I guess was it Tennessee? I guess probably in the South, because I forget who they played in the what division they played everybody in the AFC.
Yeah. So what was the bonus game? It probably was Tennessee. The NFC West played the no, it wasn't Tennessee. The NFC West played the NFC South this year.
No, AFC.
NFC West played the AFC South.
Yeah, AFC South. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That Tennessee was that 4th place team in that 17th game.
No, the 17th game was Cleveland, actually, because the Niners played Cleveland. And then the Seahawks, what was their bonus game? They played. It was probably.
Now, how did they play both
Cleveland?
Right? How did they play both Cleveland and Tennessee? And you said they played the AFC East.
No. They played the AFC South.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then
Cleveland.
Cleveland was the 17th game, yeah, because they played all 4 teams in the AFC South, yeah.
Yeah, Seattle must have played Baltimore or Pittsburgh. Where do they play? What was their bonus game?
Yeah. San Francisco has one more win. They're 12. Seattle has one more win, 13-3. They would win the tiebreaker because at 12-4 they would have swept Seattle.
Yeah. Seattle played Pittsburgh. That was their bonus game. That was week 2. Yeah, that's so Pittsburgh instead of Cleveland. So yeah, it's pretty tough. Last 6 games: Arizona, Carolina, Cleveland, Tennessee, Rivers shootout. Yeah, the Bears shootout. Yeah, it's the schedule.
I'm not saying Seattle can't win. I'm not saying Seattle won't win.
Mm-hmm.
Better team doesn't always win. Okay, but I'd rather go with the experience, and they have playmakers. Could be a shootout.
Maybe. And
I'd prefer the 49ers in that case.
Okay. I do think San Francisco is going to have an issue scoring here. They're not going to be like 10 points or something. I think maybe 20, 23.
How does Seattle do on grass? I assume they're pretty good because they do well on the road.
I don't know how they do on grass. How
about LSD?
I don't know. I don't know these things.
No, I know. I'm saying that they have a good road record. And I know they like in Arizona, who they play every year. Now they play it. Now when they play the Rams, it's on turf. Now it's SoFi.
Right. Offense, excellent, defense. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And Evan, I'm sure you remember this. We were doing a show back in like August or something, and I had I'm in this pool. It's called the 272 pool, where we predict every winner of every game throughout the whole season. And then
before the season starts, you mean?
Yeah, before the season starts. Actually won it like 2 years ago. This year did not do as well, but I had like in this spreadsheet that's sent over.
That's because you didn't like Seattle when the season started until halfway through.
Yeah,
I just remember that. Yeah,
that could be the case.
We all have teams like that. I mean,
of course.
I'm guessing. What does it take to win a 272 pool? Maybe 200.
I could tell you right now. Let's see. 272 pool. The winner of the 272 pool. Well, right now as of week 17, so there's one more week. The leader has 158 wins.
That's how tough it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say he gets 10. Let's say he gets 11 right. That'd be 170 out of 270.
Yeah, 270.
That's how tough it is, because that's how much the league changes from year to year.
Yeah,
and it's really changed this year when you consider that both Detroit and Kansas City were expected to be double-digit win teams. Neither of them is even making the playoffs, and Baltimore and Buffalo came close for a long time. Now Buffalo's okay because they have double-digit wins, but Baltimore, they would finish 10-7 and win the division.
Yeah, 9-8. No, or sorry, yeah, 9-8. I think it finished first place. So,
or they're 8-8 right now.
Yeah, they're 8. They're 8-8. Yeah, they're 8-8. So
okay, yeah, so they would, so they would win at 9-8, and Pittsburgh would maintain the non-losing streak at 9-8 for.
Yeah. So I have 142 points in that 272 pool. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because I was filling it out live after Evan and I did a show in August, and I was like, in that spreadsheet, it actually shows you the record you have for each team as you make your selections. And
you mean your 272 as the season unfolds? It shows you how you've done. Correctly or incorrectly on each team. Is that what you're talking about?
No. When you're making your picks before the season, there's a column for each team and what their projected record would be based on your projections for each game. So if you pick San Francisco to win every game, it's going to show up San Francisco 17-0 in the column.
That's for people who look at everything on a game by game basis and don't go back and say, well, I picked them here, picked them there. You know how much time you put into doing it to analyze 272 games.
Right. So you have that data, so it's really cool. Kelly does that. She comes on the show like during August sometimes to do some fantasy drafts with us.
Which Kelly?
Not Kelly in Vegas.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking of. Different
Kelly in Arizona, not in Vegas. Anyway, so my point is, like, when I was filling this out with Evan, I was like, Evan, I have San Francisco 15-2. How's that possible? And it's because the schedule was so easy at the beginning of the year. I was like, I don't have them losing.
What'd you have New England at, about 11 or 12?
I think off the top of my head, I want to say 9-8 or something. I could try to find it somewhere.
I think their season win total was 8.5. What was San Francisco's? 9.5?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I do think so. I can actually pull it up here. I had San Francisco. I ended up having San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco 15-2. I had New England 9-8. So yeah, I don't know how I remember that, but that was correct. My biggest miss, and it's, partly due to injury, was I had the Redskins at 13-4, but Jane Daniels just got hurt.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I had the Vikings at 14-3. That was a huge miss on my end.
I also thought the Vikings would have a really good season. I did not realize how bad McCarthy would be. And the fact that, Wentz is Wentz, but you didn't figure that your number 2 quarterback's going to go down that early in the season because your number 1 quarterback was injured in game 2.
Yeah. Here's why I lost. I had Kansas City at 16-1. There you go. That would be why I also had the Raiders at 9-8.
So you did not adjust for the age factor and all those playoff games and how they got beaten up by the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
I guess not. I figured, you know what I figured,
and all the close games that they had last year.
I figured that, I didn't think they're going to go 16-1, but I thought that, they would win most of their games, like a majority, like more than half. So I was just playing the odds and okay, I was like, well, where are they going to be favored? So just take them as favorites. So, that was a whiff for sure. I had the Bills at 15-2. So that's
that one made sense. That one made sense because I don't think anyone expected Buffalo's defense to struggle. And again, a lot of that's injury related.
Yeah, I had the Jaguars winning the AFC South at 9-8. So
that's 9-8. Okay, it was still a nice call because Houston was a solid favorite, and they could end up. What are they now? What's Houston now? Are they
Um,
10-6? No, maybe 11-5.
they are. I think they are 11-5. Yeah.
Yeah, so 11-5, even 11-6 might win that division. 12-5, you would think would win that division, but the Jags are what,
Jackson's
12-4
12.
right now.
Jackson 12 and
Yeah,
4. Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
nice call.
Yeah. Nice to have one nice call here.
Oh,
Um,
you probably have a number of them. Where'd you have the Rams?
I had the Rams at 13-4.
Okay, that's where they could end up.
Yeah, yeah. Arizona 5-12. So
And that's closer than a lot of people thought. Arizona was 9-8 last year, or 9-8 or 8-9 last year,
yeah,
and now they've lost what, 12 out of 13.
yeah. I thought here's one good call. I had the Lions at 8-9. So that's where they could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now was that based upon the loss of both coordinators, or was there
and
more to it than that?
and the loss of several offensive linemen too.
Okay. Oh, the center, yeah.
Yeah, they lost their center, and then they lost their guard Kevin Zeitler. So
Well,
they
it's better than Dan Campbell, who lost his mind.
That's definitely true. Yeah, we had both had San Francisco and New England crazy numbers. Yeah, for sure they had the easy schedule. I wonder if Walter Football with his favorite the Sunday AM European games. Did he have the favorite? Probably. I don't. I'm not sure.
Well, I would imagine you probably had the Jets losing and the Giants losing.
I did.
I don't know. No, the Jets
Not
losing.
just
The
losing.
Giants didn't play over there. The Jets losing to Denver.
I had Minnesota winning both. I had Denver beating the Jets. I had the Rams beating the Jaguars. I had the Falcons beating the Colts, which did not happen. And then I had the Redskins beating the Dolphins, which did not happen. So I think I was about even in the London game or in the European games, so not too bad. So anyway, it'd be fun to review in a later episode. Just go over everything there. It's kind of cool. Chiefs joined almost every team except the 72 Dolphins, the Brady Patriots that lost the Super Bowl and were not good the following season. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Super Bowl losers that do not play well. Although the Bills would keep getting back, so it wasn't always true.
Yeah, well, that's the exception that proves how rare it is.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to the next game, which is the first.
You're with the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle. You're on San Francisco.
And you're on the Panthers.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of on the I'm kind of on the Bucks at 2.5, the Panthers at 3, which means I won't most likely be playing. The game.
Yeah, the two games I like Seattle more than the first one, for sure. Okay, the first game in the 1:00 slate, the Packers are at the Vikings. This line is -7. We have no idea who's going to play for the Packers. I think we're pretty sure the Packers are going to sit.
Could be Desmond Ridder.
Could it really be? I thought.
I read something that Ridder might start this Sunday.
Wow, the Riddler's back. It's crazy.
I think they just picked him up today. Of course, today's only Thursday, but you know,
if they start a guy they just picked up 3 days before the game.
Hey, it worked with the Rams and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but the Riddler is not Baker Mayfield, you know. So
no.
So anyway, if this is not Malik Willis, I assume Love's not going to play.
I think he's on there with a shoulder injury, isn't he? On the injured list, and Love is out.
Yeah, he was. Willis is limited, so it could still be Willis. So if it's not Willis, I will definitely be on the Vikings, even if Brosmer starts. Now, JJ McCarthy was limited today, so maybe he will return to action. I hope he does, because I think Minnesota will be a great play, as given that the Packers are going to be sitting their starters in all likelihood. They're locked into the 7th seed, so they have nowhere to go. The Vikings definitely with McCarthy, but even if it's Brosmer, I do like Minnesota as well, as long as the starters tune, or now that we're hearing Riddler might start. So what do you think about this game?
Actually, the first thought that came to mind, regardless of who's quarterback, is I like over 35.5.
Okay.
In that game. That number opened 37.5, which is pretty low to begin with. Green Bay still has a decent defense. And I don't know how many starters rest on defense as opposed to rest on offense generally when teams rest their players. So I could see the Green Bay defense keeping the Packers in this game, which of course sort of goes against the 35.5, but I think still 35.5 is a low enough number. Anything below 37, because 37 and 38 are still, key numbers as far as totals go. So I would lean to Green Bay in this one at 7.5, but I probably won't play it. I have that down as in my lean category.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it depends on the quarterback, as far as the unit count's concerned, but I will be on Minnesota here. I just feel like the Packers have nothing to play for. Like, why would they even show? They're not going to play game plan for this game at all. And I think that Minnesota would really like to finish above 500. I think that could be a goal for them in this game. So, kind of wild. I actually forgot I had an over 8.5 Vikings ticket.
Oh,
I completely forgot about it, and I was looking through my bets. I'm like, oh, this is still alive here. I thought I just gave up on it before, but yeah, I could still win. Anyway, our next game here, Colts at the Texans. The Texans are 10.5-point favorites. It's gonna be Riley Leonard starting for the Colts instead of Phillip Rivers here, and if I'm hearing Riley Leonard starting against Houston's elite defense. I don't know how you don't take Houston here. I don't see the Colts doing much offensively. And then defensively, they put DeForest Buckner on IR. Sauce Gardner is missing practice once again. Houston's offense is always a little shaky here and there, but last week they scored 14 points very quickly against the Chargers, who were ranked number 2 in defense heading into the week. And now they're playing against a bad Colts defense. I feel like they should be able to score more here. Especially with as opposed to the Raider game where they didn't have a viable running back. They have Woody Marks here to make some big plays. I like Houston here. As long as this line is under 14, I think they should be able to cover. What do you think about this game?
I'm not going to play the game. I have a lean towards the Colts. I have to wonder if Houston won't be doing scoreboard watching with that Jacksonville and Tennessee game beginning at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
When Jacksonville's up 34-10 early fourth quarter, Houston may just say, you know what, we got to win. Okay, it's 20-17 or 20-14. Let's just get out of here healthy. Okay. Pull our starters. Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's true. It's just Houston by nature is not a prolific scoring team, although they have been much better over the second half of the season, which is why they've won all those. How many in a row have they won now? Houston.
It's been a lot here.
Like 6 or 7, maybe more.
Something like that. Yeah.
I know they started what 0-3, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they started with losses to the Rams and then the Buccaneers, and then they lost to the Jaguars, and then they beat Tennessee. So they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. They won. So
so they're playing, and then they scored some points in those games as well. But I just wonder if they're not going to be distracted because, they know that they're going to be playing next week regardless of where they're seated. But will they host a game as the number 4 seed, or will they? Actually, they might finish higher than the number 4 seed. Yeah, they'll be they'd be the number 3 seed because they would be ahead of whoever wins the North between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. So I wonder if indeed they might just start pulling starters and look, and you have to believe if Riley Leonard is starting, and we don't know how healthy Daniel Jones will be next year coming back and everything, but this is almost like a tryout for Riley Leonard to see what he can do at this level. So I would have a feeling that Steichen will be going with a regular game plan, and regardless of how much they're down by, they're going to try and let Leonard show what he can do, running the team from behind or with the passing game and all that. So not a game I'm going to play. I mean, I've got a futures ticket on Houston to win the division. So I'll be rooting for Houston to win, and I'll be rooting for Jacksonville to lose, which I don't think will happen. But you could have that in there as far as the late game scenario goes, as opposed to one of them playing at 10 and one of them playing at for me 10 o'clock and the other playing at 1 or 1:30, and neither team would be scoreboard watching because there'd be nothing to watch.
Right.
on the point.
Actually, have a Jacksonville future myself for the division. So, we are at odds here, Andy. I'm sorry.
Well, now are you going to hedge it because you get a nice money line price on Tennessee?
Maybe live. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Um,
Is it a significant wager? Not that
it's
it
not
matters.
it's not a big bet. In fact, what is it? Let's see what I have. I have a Super Bowl future on the Jaguars. This is a plus 390. Um, it's $75 to win.
Okay,
Whatever, so.
right now Tennessee is plus 550 on the money line to win this
Okay.
game. So
Okay.
may
Well, it might be. I mean, if if Jacksonville loses and then Houston loses too, then that would really screw me. Lose both. Um, well, so
no.
anyway,
No, you also have a ticket on Houston or something?
no, I'm just saying that like if I win the money line bet on Tennessee,
Yeah, well, if Houston loses and Jacksonville loses, you lose the hedge bet.
yeah, lose the hedge bet. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I don't.
But you'd have to think the odds of Houston winning. They're not quite as large a favorite as Jacksonville, 10.5 versus 12.5, but you'd have to think that Houston has a much better chance of winning than the other way around.
Yeah, actually, I like Houston's chances of winning better than Jacksonville's chances of winning, which is a little seems weird. But I do think that's the case. No, we'll get to that game in a bit. I think that's a little tricky game there.
Well, the thing is both Houston and Jacksonville are playing at home. So
right. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to take it. It's not.
I was just going to say though, at plus 550, you don't have to. All you would be risking would be giving back part of your winnings because you would still be able to play less on the hedge than you have potentially to win on Jacksonville winning the division.
Yeah, it's not nearly as big of a bet.
It is something you could probably do something in live wagering if you needed to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. I'll have to just remember to do that, I guess. So there's like so much going on in week 18. So, all right. Next game is Browns at the Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 7.5. Been betting the Bengals pretty aggressively the past 4 weeks or so.
You're saying you have?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about maybe the market has been.
No. So I had a huge bet on Cincinnati against Arizona before that, a huge bet on Cincinnati against Miami. But I'm not gonna stop that here. All good things come to an end.
Then it'll come to an end this week. It has to.
That's true.
They're not playing anymore.
That's true, but it could come to an end before this game because I am not going to be on Cincinnati here. Cleveland has just, for some reason, has owned Cincinnati, and I think that has to do with their inability to block Myles Garrett whatsoever. Cincinnati's offensive line has just not been good over the years, and Garrett has completely dominated them in most of the matchups. And obviously, he's going for the record here, so he's going to be super motivated. Not that he wouldn't be otherwise, but Cleveland just keeps these games close. They did in week 1. That actually Cleveland should have won. They outgained Cincinnati by a wide margin, wasn't even close. The only thing I worry about with Cleveland here is if like all of their playmakers are out, because you have Harold Fannin got hurt last week, David Njoku who's been out, and Cincinnati's so bad against tight ends. If the Browns don't have their tight ends against the Bengals, then they aren't going to score that much. But their defense should be able to limit Joe Burrow. So I would like the Browns here. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but that is the direction I'm going. How do you feel about this game?
I like Cincinnati. I like them a lot. I like the way, and we talked about it before, how they've played down the stretch the last few years, even when they did not make the playoffs and knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. In a number of those games, they got a tremendous record down the stretch. It's almost the reverse of how bad their record had been in September prior to winning the first 2 games this year before they got lost Joe Burrow in game 2. But the other thing is, this could be a letdown spot for Cleveland. They just kept Pittsburgh from winning the division last week. Who's their biggest rival? Cleveland. Yeah. Pittsburgh is a bigger rival to Cleveland than Cincinnati is.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So it could be. Cincinnati, and now I know Cleveland does have a good defense. Number one, I wonder, and who was it who said that that Cleveland was more interested in getting the sack record than in winning the game, or something like
I
that,
think it was. I think
or
Denzel Ward
no,
said that.
it was Pittsburgh saying that they were more concerned with getting by getting a hit on Aaron Rodgers than in winning or something like that.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was more interested in avoiding uh, Miles getting the record.
Yeah, I think
Something like that.
yeah, I think Denzel Ward said that.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the case.
But the other thing is, again, since Burrow has returned, other than that 24-0 loss to the Ravens, the Bengals have scored 32, 34, 45, and 37 points. Burrow is playing as if the playoffs are on the line, even though the Baltimore loss, the 24-0 loss, eliminated the Bengals, and they played the 2 games since then. They've put up 45 and 37 against weak teams. Now, weak teams offensively in was it Arizona and
Miami.
was it Miami? Yeah, they put up 45 and 37. Obviously, Cleveland is a better defensive team, but you also wonder how intense Cleveland is going to be in this game, knowing that hey, their season's over. They got nothing to play for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I look at the Burrow. I'm sure, and I don't know what the numbers are. If there are, maybe you do. Maybe somebody's put them out there. What there are bonuses out for like some of the receivers to go over certain receiving, number of catches or whatever that they couldn't get while Burrow was out. So they may try. He may try to get them. Those whatever those bonuses are.
I don't see any bonuses. Actually, Evan actually sent me a sheet. Thanks, Evan. I don't see anything for Burrow's receivers. The only thing I see is Joseph Asai 1 sack. He gets the $250,000, and there's really nothing. Buffalo has a lot, but I don't know if they're going to play. So,
but I mean that's the concern that I have as far as not getting off the Cincinnati bandwagon or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, I'd prefer it to be 7, but I kind of think that, and Cleveland. Teams like look, Chicago put 31 up on Cleveland a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Cleveland is banged up. Back then they were missing like Denzel Ward and such. They're missing a lot of players. But it is worth noting that Carson Schlesinger, their defensive rookie of the year, he missed practice on Wednesday. So if he's out, that's really going to affect the defense as well. So I mean, I think you make some good points here, especially given that Cleveland is coming off that quote unquote Super Bowl win. So they may not be fully engaged in this one. So
and I wonder how much to talk about it. Stefanski maybe losing his job after this game, which I think would be a mistake.
Yeah, there's a
although I like the Giants, so I wouldn't be upset if Stefanski's available.
Okay,
he's a good coach. He just had bad personnel, and it all goes back to the Deshaun Watson contract.
Yeah, I think he was at odds with the ownership about Shedeur Sanders. He didn't want to play Shedeur, and the ownership really pushed for Shedeur, and he was pretty stubborn in that.
I believe he's signed for a couple of more years, but he may decide he wants out.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the Giants' situation is a good situation.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I kind of like Cincinnati in this one. That'll be a play.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wasn't planning on betting this one, but I think you kind of convinced me that Cincinnati could be.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I convinced you on Buffalo last week too.
Yeah. Well,
we'll talk about Buffalo later, but shortly. But no, and the other thing with Cincinnati and Garrett, I don't know if they're going to get if he's going to get the Roger Maris treatment.
Okay.
Because when Gastineau got the record, it was in a 16-game schedule.
Yeah, so I was really hoping that he would have gotten it last week.
I would have liked to. Yeah, I like him. He's a great player, and I would have liked to see him get the record where there's no quote unquote controversy.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, records are meant to be broken, blah blah blah. But nobody else, who had that record had 17 opportunities. Not that I don't remember if Gastineau played in 16 games because he might have set the record at 15, but still he would not have had the opportunity to play in 17. So.
Yeah. It really stinks that the records will be broken that in that fashion, but just wait until we have 18 games and then we'll see more records
Yeah.
broken. So, and by the way, it's past midnight on the East Coast. Happy New Year to everyone on the East Coast. Hope you guys have a fantastic 2026. Okay.
Yes.
So speaking of the Giants, we just mentioned them. The Cowboys are playing at the Giants. This line is Cowboys -3.5. So my initial thought was, Cowboys are the better team, right? Let's take them. But then I thought about it more and more, and Dallas's defense is just so bad. I know the Giants have a bad defense too, but Dallas' defense is rated actually worse than the Giants' defenses right now, at least since the midpoint of the season. And I thought back to the Week 2 matchup between these teams when it was 40-37, and that was the Giants team playing Russell Wilson on the road, and now we have a better quarterback here. And I was concerned about Jackson Dart heading into last week, just given that he hadn't played well in a while, and I thought maybe the concussions were really impacting him. He had a great game, albeit against the Raider team that didn't try. But Dallas's defense.
The Raiders defense actually. Where does the Raiders defense rank compared to, and I know you use that EPA. How does the Raiders defense rate versus Dallas's defense? Because I think the Raiders come out ahead.
Yeah, the Raiders are 20th in EPA, and the Cowboys are 31st. So, although the Raiders didn't have Max Crosby,
and they won't.
Game. Obviously that was an enormous factor. But yeah, the Cowboys defense is generally worse than the Raiders defense.
Giants didn't have Andrew. What was it? Thomas.
Andrew Thomas, yeah. So anyway, I think that the Giants with Jackson Dart playing better now. I feel like they're going to score a lot on Dallas, and Dallas is going to score too. I feel like it could be a shootout, decided by 3 points. I like the Giants as long as this line is above 3, which is the case right now. So, how do you feel about this game?
I'm right there with you. I think the Giants will win this game. Actually, they could have beaten. Okay. In fact, we talked about it before. They should have beaten the Cowboys because when the Cowboys were setting up for get in a position for the game-tying field goal to go into overtime, as I mentioned before, the Giants should have just let the Cowboy runner go a little bit further. Time would have run out. They never would have been able to spike the ball and set up the game-tying field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was under Brian Daboll. No, but I mean, and that's something. And again, clock management. And we see it. We see how teams will sometimes let other teams score because of the situation, and then there are other teams that we saw with who was it last year with the Jets? Was it Jets or Cleveland when the guy knew to go down on the 1 yard line and not score when he could have scored? Clock those things come into play, and we take them for granted sometimes, but the players are getting a little bit sharper, better than the coaches sometimes. So I think the Giants know from that game that they had some advantage. And remember, like you said, it was with Russell Wilson, and I'd have to say that Jackson Dart right now is better than Russell Wilson was back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
especially because what he can do with his legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question.
And I think they had some designed runs for him last week against the Raiders.
Yeah.
So
they finally had a good game plan. I felt like,
which, by the way, I think Dart felt good about. Because everyone was concerned, well, you got the concussion issue. Maybe you shouldn't be playing and everything. Take care of yourself. I'll say, okay, we'll put some plays in for you. Mm-hmm. I think he responded well to that. So, I do like the Giants in this game. That will be a play at certainly 3.5 or higher. Or actually, even +3 at higher.
Okay. All right. Glad we agree on this one. Next one is Saints at the Falcons. This line was Falcons. It was Falcons -3. Now it is, but it was 3. They went up to 3.5, and now it's back down to 3.
I actually saw it at 2.5 in a couple of places early in the week before it went to 3. But yes, it did go up to 3.5, and now it's back to 3 most places.
Yeah, it went back down. So I thought that was interesting. Could that be phantom line movement? And we saw what the real money liked. No, perhaps those Saints +3.5.
I don't know. I don't know if they would play line move games in this kind of game because it means nothing to the Saints and the Falcons.
Well, I think that
maybe for Atlanta because they have a chance to finish, but the Saints also have a chance to finish with 7 wins.
Yeah, I mean the Saints are building something for the direct future.
Yeah.
They know their coach is going to be sticking around. They know their quarterback is going to be having more experience next year. Like feels like they're building something.
But I see the Saints and the Falcons basically in the same situation. Neither of them are going to make the playoffs, but they have both shown signs of improvement over the second half of the season.
But you think Raheem Morris will be back though? I think that's the difference though.
I think the owner likes him.
Okay,
And look,
well,
what I mean, what has he done wrong the last few games? Look, they had the situation with Penix early in the season with the injuries and not playing as well as he did late last year, and then Cousins come in had Cousins I think looked bad in that first game. He's been really good since then, and they got a nice
yeah,
talent, a nice offensive talent around them.
yeah. I just feel like they've had so many low effort games this year, where they just were complete no shows, and
No, but look at the last 3 or 4.
Yeah, a little
Where
kudos
you
to
would
Wade there.
expect them to be no shows.
Yeah, I mean the players are playing for contracts. I guess I don't know. I mean,
Well, look, they
this
were playing for contracts when there were no shows, too. They just didn't play
right,
very well.
right, but like players will sometimes take a game off if they're
Yeah.
coming off a big win, which they've done every single time this year.
Well,
Maybe not.
why would they take a game off at the end of the year? The Falcons. You talk about the Falcons when they have a chance to finish 8-9, tie for the division.
But doesn't this? Well, I mean, they're still not going to win it. But doesn't this kind of mirror what we said about the Browns, where like the Browns won their quote unquote Super Bowl,
Falcons against the Rams was not a Super Bowl for the Falcons. It was a nice
I
game to win.
I feel like it was. I
They're
feel
not
like
a
it was
rival.
kind of. I feel like I know they're not a rival, but I feel like it was a good litmus test for them to see if they could beat the best team in the NFL or one of the best teams in the NFL, and they did that. It felt like a huge win for them, and I don't know if they're going to match that same intensity in this game, especially given that they beat the Saints about 5 weeks earlier, 6 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to see the same
I
intensity.
think both teams are looking to, and again, I'm talking about why anyone would would do a line fake on either side of this game. Because again, I think that they're both playing with momentum. They're both turning disappointing seasons into seasons that are disappointing but with promise. And I don't know that Atlanta or New Orleans, would have greater incentive because, you could say, well, New Orleans has the incentive to avenge an earlier loss. Well, Atlanta has the incentive to stay ahead of New Orleans and continue and end the season on a 3-4 game winning streak.
I don't feel like that doesn't really matter to them at this point. I don't know why. Like, I mean,
that's right. That's right. I don't think there's a difference. I don't think that one team is any more motivated than the other. I think they're both motivated.
I don't think Atlanta's going to be motivated in this game at all. Because we've seen
many. We're trying to guess. We're trying to guess. By the way, I will tell you, I do like the Saints in this game. Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But I cannot disagree with anyone who makes a case for the Falcons.
Well, I will say this: that in motivation, you're right, is very difficult to handicap. But we've seen enough evidence of Atlanta having big wins on national TV and just having complete letdowns the next game. We saw week 2.
Yeah, but how many games have they won in a row now?
Yeah, but I mean,
what's it, 3 or 4? Well, they didn't have a letdown after the first win or the second win.
Yeah, but that was.
It's a different point of the season.
Yeah, but that's not after beating the Rams on national TV like this. I feel like
what you're trying to do. You're trying to draw a distinction based on one game in an identical situation to the previous 2 games. Well, we were up for this game against this lousy team, we won. We're up against this lousy team again, and we won. Oh, and now we're up against a better team, and hey, what? We won. Maybe we're a better team than we showed the first half of the season.
I don't. Why would they think that now when they weren't thinking that before?
Because it's now and not back then when they weren't very good, or when they weren't very consistent.
Yeah, but it's still coached by the same horrible coach. Like, he doesn't get them up.
Yeah, the same horrible coach got them to win 3 in a row.
Right, but none of them were big wins like that. If they come out off a win, a major win like that,
wins are wins in the NFL. They're not easy to come by.
I guess, but I mean,
they were close. They were close wins, but they were wins nonetheless.
I think that was their big statement game. I really don't see them showing up for this game, especially against a team that they beat already recently. Well, I just don't see what the incentive is. Like, I feel like the
incentive is that winning feels good. You see what these locker rooms are after these teams win a game and they break a 3-game losing streak. Well, now they have a chance to end the season on a 4-game winning streak and go into the offseason. Hey, if we had played a little bit better, maybe we would have been in a 4-way tie for the division title.
I think their bags are packed, like Stu was saying.
Why is New Orleans any more motivated?
This is a big game for them to beat a team that's considered better than them. You know, and plus they're building for next year.
I honestly think the motivation is the same, unless you can point to a player coming out and saying we don't care.
Well, they're not going to say
we don't know what I'm saying. We don't know about the motivation, but the faction is that surely the Falcons, hey, they haven't checked out any more or less than the Saints, because both teams are playing their best football of the season right now.
But we've seen the Falcons check out multiple times this year, and we haven't really seen that.
We've seen some bad games from the Saints.
We've seen some bad games, but we haven't seen low effort games from the Saints. We've seen them lose games because of their talent, at least the quarterback talent, earlier in the year. But and maybe when they've had a talent discrepancy, like when they play the Rams earlier in the year on the road when it was Shuck's first start. But like I can't recall the Saints just being flat for a game. I feel like they're coached better than that. Like Kellen Moore, I think, has done a good job so far.
Well, no, I like Kellen Moore. I like everything he's done with that job. Now, if you want to say that the Saints are better coached than the Falcons, perhaps, but the Falcons are finally playing up to their talent level with the same coach that you don't like. Explain that. Explain why all of a sudden the Falcons found whatever the missing ingredient was, and they've played well for the last 3 weeks. One of which was against a very good team.
Well, I mean, they barely beat Arizona.
But they won the game. They won the game. That's the bottom line. They won the game. I don't care if they won on 6 punt returns. They won the game. They made the plays that had to be made, whether it be on offense or defense.
Yeah, but we're talking about if they're playing well, not if they won. We're talking about if they're playing well. Like, I don't think they played well against Arizona. You
can probably find some games where the Saints didn't play well.
Yeah, but we're just talking about like you asked the question, why is Atlanta playing well now? I don't necessarily think they are, like, except for that game against the Rams. Like their other wins, they won 3 in a row. Okay, so they won 3 in a row. Before the 2 games before that, they lost to the Jets. Okay, and then they got blown out by Seattle at home by 28 points.
Right.
So in these last 3 games,
that would have been. By the way, that's the point where they could have checked out, just like the Jets have checked out because they've been outscored by 107 points. Not for the season, in their last 4 games. We'll talk about them shortly. But Atlanta didn't check out.
So I don't think they would check out after losing 37-9. I think they would be motivated to.
No, you are playing after the fact. You know that they won the next 2 games.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a good.
You lose to the Jets. That wakes you up and you say, you know what? We're going to put in a better effort against Seattle, and they didn't. Okay, our season's over. Let's just get through the next 4 games.
Yeah, but players, they play for contracts. They're not going to.
No. They played for contracts against the Jets. They played for contracts against the 3 opponents they beat. So, in other words, yeah, maybe when you win, you get confidence and you like playing. You look forward to playing. Hey, we got something here now, and they've done that for 3 straight weeks. When by all rights they should have checked out. Doesn't matter. Every game is a big game or a little game when you've got that kind of record. They've shown the last 3 games are all games they wanted to win, and they were successful. Beating the first two teams, no big deal. Beating the Rams, a big deal. Now they can go out and feel like, hey, let's end the season on a 4-game winning streak.
Oh, I think beating the Rams is a big deal. Oh, we won. Let's go on vacation. We're done. I don't see this. I don't see this.
Why would they have shown up against the Rams after they just won 2 games and said, okay, we got the Rams, we're not going to win here, and then let's get home?
Because the other teams they beat are not Super Bowl contenders.
Doesn't matter. They're still football teams.
Yeah, but that was a good litmus test for them next year. It's like they won, like they won their big game, and like now it's over. Like the season's over.
No. They are going to take the field against New Orleans and say, hey, let's end up tying, finishing ahead of the Saints. Okay, which they would. They'd have an 8-9, and the Saints would be 6-11. I think they're 6-10 right now. So why wouldn't they be motivated to finish ahead of a division rival and as I just mentioned, possibly be tied for first place in the division?
I don't think they lose that means anything.
No, but how about finishing as co-champions of your division?
It's not co-champion. They're not going to play.
Yes, they are. No, that doesn't. No, that's different than being. They lost out on tiebreakers. They still finished as co-champions.
That's not. I don't think.
Yes, there's a difference. The difference is they had just as good a record as the other 2 teams in the division, but 2 of them lost out on tiebreakers.
I don't see them hanging a banner as saying 2025 co-champions NFC
No,
South.
but in their mind, that's what they're thinking. Hey, nobody thought we could do anything. Look where we were in midseason. Now we tied for the best record in the division.
I can't see them being motivated for being losing out tiebreakers. I just after beating the Rams like that,
You
like
are trying so hard to give the Falcons absolutely no credit and no chance in this game.
I think they have a chance in this game. I'm just questioning the motivation.
Why would you question the motivation of a team that's playing well?
I mean, they were playing well when they beat the Bills, and then what happened after that? They laid an egg for 2 weeks in a row. They were playing well
right.
when they beat the Vikings in week 2.
Don't compare that back to after beating Buffalo. The 2 different games, 2 different times this season.
Why? Though?
This is the end of the season. They're playing well right now. They were not playing well when they beat the Bills.
Yeah, they were. They won 2 in a row. They beat Washington, then they beat Buffalo on Monday Night Football, and then
but when they were playing Buffalo, okay, we were off 1 win. What'd they do the few games before the Buffalo win?
Well, that was the egg they laid against the Panthers, and then they came back and won. Which whenever they've gotten blown out this year, they've responded well. Like we're
spending too much time on this game.
Yeah,
because we're both on New Orleans.
Yeah, for sure. I love the Saints here.
Yeah.
I
don't love the Saints, but if you're going to give me points in this game that they can win, this is kind of like a team. Yes, they are co-champions. Yeah.
I really don't think so.
Look up the definition of co-champions when you've had 2 teams. In other words, if they can't now, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. So.
So you kind of agree with Andy. Listen to what Cowboys are saying about finishing 8-1 versus 7-9-1. Well, we'll see. The Cowboys might be saying stuff. We'll see. We'll see if we see that effort.
No, that doesn't mean they're going to happen because I happen to like the. I kind of like I do like the Giants, but I am aware of why the Cowboys might show motivation.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys might show motivation. We'll see. I'm not sure if we're going to see a good effort out of them, but I think they're not coming up. If the Cowboys are coming off win against the Eagles last week, then I don't think they'd show the same motivation. I think it was out of division. The whole blocking Tampa wasn't in play. Then you could argue no motivation. Yeah. Do they really they blocked Tampa? They allow Carolina to win. I don't know. Maybe that means something to them. I don't know.
I don't think Atlanta cares a damn about what the effect of their win or loss is on the other 2 teams. I think they're out there to win this game, maintain the momentum that they developed, showing that, oh, by the way, we can not only beat a good team, we can beat a team that's also kind of like us in the fact that they are building for the future, the Saints.
Yeah.
By the way, the Saints and the Saints can say the same thing, except that they didn't beat the Rams. But the point is the Rams the Saints have been playing well for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah, and the Saints know their coach is going to be back. I don't think the Falcons know that the coach is going to be back.
I don't think the Falcons care about whether the coach is coming back, or maybe they like the coach and they want him back. Do you know whether the players like the coach or not?
No, I know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they do, or maybe they don't care.
If they do,
maybe they're playing for jobs. No, maybe they're playing for their jobs, or they're playing for their incentives, or whatever. I think they're playing because, hey, it's a lot more fun walking into this locker room after the game winning and then playing the next week. And okay, now we're going to walk out of this locker room winning, and we won't be playing until next year, but we'll be excited about next year because of the way we finished this season.
So I feel like
by the way, the Saints are thinking the same thing.
I think that was their mindset after the Rams game, and they have a short week too. Bad team off a short week. That's another angle here. But I just think plainly, I think the Saints are better than the Falcons. I think they.
I agree. Well, they've played better, certainly defensively. Although Atlanta's been pretty decent defensively.
Yeah, Saints 7th in EPA.
I think you have to handicap Week 18 differently than every other week. But I don't think you can identify who is or won't be. You can identify whether they should be or they shouldn't be. And I think both teams in this situation should be motivated because they're playing their best ball at the end of the season and it's showing up in the results.
The
reason why I'm taking the Saints, they're the underdog getting a field goal or more. Basically a toss-up game.
Okay.
A point or two for the home field. Maybe you want to give them 2 points. So maybe on a neutral field, New Orleans a 1 point favorite. I think both teams. Now you may be right, and we may find out after the game. New Orleans wins 27-3, and Atlanta just said, "Well, we're finished for the year." But I don't think we can say that going into the game.
Okay. All right. Well,
If Atlanta had lost 3 in a row, okay,
think,
because I'll give you the other argument that could be made. Let's say
Mhm.
they lost to the Rams. Now, how do you approach this game? Now they're motivated because they just lost a game against a team that they should have lost to, but they played better than they did. Maybe they lose 27-24 instead of winning 27-24.
Well, I think if they get blown out like they did against Seattle, I think they'd be motivated because they were embarrassed.
No,
But
if it's the last game of the season and they get blown out, let's get the hell out of here. Hey, we played really well against a team that might be in the Super Bowl. We came up short, but we showed we could compete, on an even footing with them. Let's go out and build upon that for next year. You can make the argument. I don't know which is true. I don't know if either's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could do some research into it, but yeah, I don't know.
You can't research motivation.
No, but I'm saying that like
you can only come up with a reasonable explanation of, well, this team wasn't motivated because they lost 45-3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that necessarily would have been a lack of motivation. Might have been just a lack of talent, maybe injuries, or you exerted yourself too much against a team that you played the week before. So anyway, let's go on.
By the way, real fast, and this is a small sample size. Just looked it up. What I was wondering was how teams would do in week 18 after getting blown out and not having a good record. So it's like bad teams after blowouts in week 18. It's a small sample size because I only looked up week 18.
How did you define blowout? Lose by how much?
Lose by 24 or more.
24 or more? Okay.
Yeah.
I would have said 21 or more, but that's okay.
All right. Well, I could change it to 21 or more. So the okay, yeah, it's a bigger sample size. So these teams are 12-5 against the spread. Actually, these teams that were blown out in week 17 and then came back in week 18, and these teams are 500 or worse, all of them. So
wait, say that now.
So teams
12-5.
So yeah, teams that are 500 or worse and were blown out in week 17 were 12-5 against the spread in week 18.
That's if both teams are 500, or just the team that?
No, just the team in question. Okay. So this applies to this applies to 3 teams this year: the Jets against the Bills, the Raiders against the Chiefs. They're not trying. We know they're not trying, and the Cardinals against the Rams.
Oh, okay.
So I think that kind of makes sense. If you get blown out in your final game, you'll be like,
well, the question is also, what is the opponent's situation in that week 18 game?
Right. That's it's a complicated thing, So I just wanted to see if it was like 0-10 or 10-0, just like see if there was a kind of.
It's still a small sample size, but 12-5 is 12-5. What I was going to say though is, what happens if they beat? The thing for the Saints game. What happens for a team that, let's say, is what were they, about 8-point underdogs in that game?
I think they closed at 7.
All right. So let's say, what is the record in week 18 of a team that won outright as let's say a home underdog between +7 and +9?
Why +9? Why don't you just go high? If they won as
well,
because
there could be a 1 point difference, where you get lines. So in other words, if they were minus, you want to say -7. I like to give a little bit of a range because there are variances. So let's say between -6.5 and -7.5.
But my question is, like, why would you only limit it 7.5? Because it like, say Atlanta was a 13-point home underdog and they won. I feel like then I would have used a different range. We're talking about different levels of competition that they're likely facing and how bad they are. I feel like with this we're going to get such a small sample size. It might be like 2 games.
How far back are you going?
Well, here's the problem. So since
how far back are you going? 2010.
No, I'm only going to 2021 because that's when we had 18 weeks.
Okay.
So like I would have to do it like I'd have to do like
You'd have to
brackets
do.
and
I would say you'd
yeah,
have to go from 2021 forward, and
yeah.
then let's say 2010 to 2020.
Right.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
right.
last game of the season.
Yeah, you'd have
Coming
to do
coming off of a huge home upset, and you're at home the next week.
and you're home again next week. I feel like that's the sample size is just not going to exist. Yeah, there's 0 games. 0 games. Let's not
You want
cap
to
it.
spread it? You want to say -6 to -9?
I did 6.5. I did 7 to 10. Sorry, 7.5 to 9.5. There was no sample size. Let's just get rid of the cap here. There's no cap on this. There's still no sample size. This has not happened. So I don't know.
There's never. Okay, maybe because I haven't been that big of an underdog pulling it off. How about you just go from what do you like to? I'd like to go back to 2002, but do you want to go back to 2010 to 2020? And that's an 11-year sample size. Maybe we'll find a few games there.
Right. So
maybe meaningless. And maybe like it might be like 3-2 or 2-3 or something like that.
All right. Well, we'll have
And
to.
you use this. I'd say use the spread range of between -6.5 and -8. I'm sorry, +6.5 to ±8 in game in game 15.
Right. Okay. Let's see if this works.
In other words, you're looking at game 16. The team is at home. Forget the point spread for a moment. Just go with in their last game they were also at home. They were a +6.5 to +8 point underdog, and they won outright.
There was it happened once in 2014. The Redskins beat someone, and then they lost to Dallas 44-17.
Okay.
So I don't know who that was. 2014.
Doesn't matter if it's only one game.
Right. I'm just kind of curious what that was.
Actually, you want to know something? Why don't we just do it?
It was the Eagles. The Redskins beat the Eagles, by the way, in 2014, and then
okay.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe what we want to know is how does a team off an upset with a team that was an underdog, let's say, of more than 3 points in week 15, so it could have been +4, +14, whatever. How they do if they're off the win, and then they're at home the next week, the final week of the season.
Okay. Let me see here. I think I can bracket this off and
by the way, you want another parameter? They're a below 500 team.
Oh, I've been doing that.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So, where can you tell me that again, just so I have it correct?
Okay.
Underdogs at 3.5 or more.
This is from 2020 to 2010 to 2020.
Yes.
And it's game 16. They are at home, and they are off a home win as an underdog of, let's say, more than 4 points.
More than 4 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And hold on.
They won as a home underdog of more than 4 points, which could cover a large range, but it'll be a larger sample size. That just gives some idea.
Sure. Let's take me 1 second.
Yeah.
I think I got this correct. Hopefully. Okay. This still happened only once.
Oh.
That 2014 Redskins team. 2014 Redskins. Yeah. So yeah, they beat the Eagles as big underdogs, and then they lost to Dallas at home. 6-point dogs. They lost 44-17. So.
Okay, well, I was looking for at home and anything, but if they're favored at home, because that's what Atlanta is in this game. So okay,
right. It's I mean, look, it's a 1-game sample size anyway. And by the way, this only happened. So this only happened once, right? But it's we have 2 of these instances this week. We have Atlanta, and we also have Minnesota, who beat Detroit as an underdog last week. So at home.
At home, yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny that it's only happened once in 2010, and now it's happening twice. So very weird. Anyway, I don't think y'all get done tonight. It will be Happy New Year time in Hawaii. That's probably true.
It'll be close, yeah.
Yeah. That's how we've gone. Don't need to stay way above your heads. Good beating the Rams to playing the Saints. Slew. That said, no strong opinion on this game. Okay, I love the Saints. I really do. I just think they're the better team. I think they have the motivational edge, but we'll see. And then
See, I think that's the only. I think that's really the only area that we disagree, where you think the Saints have the motivation edge, and I think both of these teams are pretty similar as far as their motivation goes.
mm-hmm.
That's,
But
that's the only
I think
difference,
I think you would agree that the Saints are better coached as well.
based upon what we've seen. Absolutely,
Okay, all right.
but the coaches don't score touchdowns.
That's true. That's true. Unless an assistant coach or a high school coach who comes in. Actually, Philip Rivers didn't score touchdowns either. So, anyway, we have the final 1:00 game. The Titans are at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 12.5-point favorites. Obviously, Jaguars win. They have the divisional win. If the Jaguars win and the Broncos and Patriots lose, they will have the 1 seed. So, motivation here for the Jaguars, but they clobbered Tennessee. It was like, 5 weeks ago or so in Tennessee. You think they won like 25-3 or something. So I don't know how. I don't know
By the way,
both
the Broncos and the Patriots are playing the late game, so they won't know when they take the field and when they leave the field. When they leave the field, that the Patriots game will be in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so they won't know. So I don't know if there's going to be
but they will. But they will know the results of the Houston game.
Yes.
So I think the Jaguars, even if they win, I don't know that they're all that concerned about being the number 1 seed. I think they just care. Let's get the win the division, let New England and Denver do what they're going to do. We need to take care of business.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially given the report that the Chargers are going to sit their starters. So, they have to be thinking that they don't have a shot at the 1 seed. But winning the division, getting a home game, I think is important. I mean, look, they'll be motivated here, but I just don't know if they're going to have a sense of urgency at all against the Tennessee team. They just
I'm the same way. I mean, in other words, I'm not saying I'm not going to play the game, but I would if I were to play the game, I'd take the points with the Titans because I think the Jaguars, once they get a nice lead, let's rest everybody, because regardless of the only question is who. The only 2 questions are who and where are they playing next week.
Right.
Most likely they're playing at home, but they will be playing because it's extremely unlikely. Maybe Jaguar players before the game will make a 2-team huge parlay on the Chargers and the Patriots and then the Dolphins.
Right. that'd be something.
That would give them the number 1 seed. But
yeah, it'd be different if the number 2 seed still had a bye. But yeah. So that's definitely plays a factor here. I agree.
Which bye, and excuse the pun, BY for BYE. But by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL, to raise more money, because they don't care about competition, takes away all bye weeks, and not even the number 1 seed gets a bye. They just get to play the weakest opponent because they'll now expand it to an 8-team playoff.
Yes. Oh, we're definitely getting that. I don't think there's any question. Yeah. I'd be shocked.
And in fact, they're all going to be neutral sites being played in Toronto and Mexico City.
They'll be playing the moon, the dark side, the
dark side. The dark side of the moon. Yes.
Yeah. There's no dark side of the moon. It's the far side of the moon. The moon's always half lit, no matter what. Of course. So
just like most of us.
That's true.
Speak for yourself, Andy.
That's certainly true. Anyway, no, we agree here. I like the points. I'm not going to bet it. I love Jacksonville as a team in general, but I do think this is not like the best spot, given that they.
Now, by the way, I should go. Let's go over I haven't gotten the circle lines yet, and I haven't sent out my Westgate contest lines. Mm-hmm. But let me just read some of these games that we've already gone over. In the contest, Buccaneers are 2.5 over the Panthers, and the Seahawks are 1.5 over the 49ers. Vikings are 7.5 over the Packers. Texans 10.5 over the Colts.
Okay.
Bengals 7.5 over the Browns. Cowboys 3.5 over the Giants. Falcons exactly at 3 over the Saints, and Jaguars 12.5 over the Titans.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we agree on Tennessee here. Is this a big play for you or
no?
Okay. Me neither. All right. Okay. Let's get to the 4:00 games. I believe there are 7 of them. The Dolphins are at the Patriots. The Patriots are -10.5. Yeah. very impressed with the Patriots last week, even though they were playing
By
against
the
the
way,
hapless Jets.
Patriots are 10.5 in the Westgate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Patriots are just playing such great football right now. I know they lost to the Bills, but they were up 21-0, and yeah, they had a bad half, but they played very
Yeah, but
well
you see,
otherwise.
they did what good teams do. They
Yeah.
come out off a loss like that where they gave away a game and they struck early and often. Now,
Mhm.
yeah, it was a big difference between playing the Bills and playing the Jets and playing the Jets, who they did last week. But you're still playing another team that's out there that's looking to hopefully spoil your season or do something. But the
Mhm.
point is they took control early and never let up.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if well, you could
And
say
that's
they
my
let.
and that's why Vrabel's such a good coach.
Yeah, Vrabel's great. You could say they let up when they were up 42 to 3 or
To
whatever it
three,
was.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They took out their starters in the middle of the third quarter, and I have my fantasy.
They may do that here. And by the way, the other
Yeah.
concern about playing the Patriots is they might very well be looking at the Denver Chargers game.
Hmm. Yeah.
You
I
know,
have. Yeah.
if there's a result in the Denver if because it's starting at the same time, if the Charger Bronco game, whichever way it's going, is one sided, that may determine whether or not the Patriots will take players out or let them continue to play. If it's a close game, they may play the starters
Hmm.
the whole way if they need to. If it's if the Chargers are up by 24 over the Broncos, or the Broncos are up 24 over the Chargers, maybe you sit a lot of the play. No, it'd be if the Broncos are up big, maybe you take everybody out because the Patriots are playing next week.
Hmm.
If it's a competitive game, or the Chargers are no, it'd be a competitive game that the Chargers could win. Maybe you keep playing them just in case.
Yeah. Do you think they'd care if they're the 2 or the 3 seed? I don't know.
No,
Maybe.
I'm talking about the number 1 seed.
I know. But like,
If
if
it appears that
Jacksonville wins,
if it appears that Denver's going to get the if it appears that Denver's going to get the win in the number 1 seed, I don't think it matters to the Patriots if they're the number 2 or the number 3 seed. They're playing at home.
yeah,
Next week.
that's true. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could keep them. I'm not sure though. I'm saying like just don't know. And yeah, if the Jaguars win, the Patriots lose, the Patriots will go down to 3. So you would think that if the Chargers lose, and that's what this is based on, that the Chargers have the 7 seed. I think the Patriots would like to play the Chargers in round 1, but I don't know. I mean, because then
I don't think
otherwise they play Buffalo. Well, otherwise they play Buffalo in round 1. It seems like a
Buffalo could be as high as the number 3 seed. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they could be higher. They could be the number 5 seed rather, the number 1 wild card if Houston loses.
Right, but they'll know the Houston result, right? So
Patriots will know when they take the field. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's a
complicated
thing.
I'm thinking in terms of covering the spread.
Yeah.
In other words, will if the Patriots know that they're going to be let's say the Chargers are crushing the Broncos, and the Patriots, all they have to do is win the game and get the number 1 seed. Maybe they keep the starters in there because they're not playing next week. They can, they're going to be default resting. If they have to play next week, maybe they take the players out and all that. And the reason I say that, are you on New England in this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I am as well. Because the other thing to keep in mind, and we saw it last week against the Jets, Drake May's making a good case for MVP.
Well, he's like a minus 550 favorite right now.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they want to do. We saw them. What did he have? 5 touchdowns last week or something?
Yeah, he had 5 touchdowns, a 90% completion percentage in 2.5 quarters. And I'm sitting there. I'm in my fantasy championship. I had Drake May, Travion Henderson, and Hunter Henry, and they bench all these guys. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, we need more points.
How'd you end up doing?
I won by like 45 points.
Okay.
Fine. I didn't need them to keep playing, but at the time, you just didn't know because my opponent still had Puka Nacua and Saquon Barkley, and he had some good players late.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Patriots are just. I feel like just such a good team right now. And yeah, they've had an easy schedule, but the difference is between like a team like the Broncos,
they're winning games by margins.
Oh yeah, they're crushing teams.
Yeah.
I can only point to like one or two instances where they didn't crush a bad opponent, but they still won the
Yeah.
games. And so yeah,
Well,
they only.
plus they're getting an opponent that does not play like playing in cold weather.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of
Yeah.
course, Tua is not involved in this game, but
Right, but Quinn Ewers is. And Quinn
yeah,
Ewers, I did the research. Quinn Ewers, born in San Antonio, every collegiate start he made was for the Texas Longhorns,
yeah,
and the two games he started thus far in the NFL has been in Miami. So
yeah.
this is the
Well,
first
the big
time he's ever
question is,
playing. Yeah,
has he ever seen snow live?
we don't know actually. Maybe not. Although he was in Ohio State, right, for 1 year,
Yeah,
but he didn't play. He didn't play. So this might be his first time playing in sub 32-degree weather ever.
yeah,
Uh, so it's yeah, and we know Miami doesn't want to tackle. Talk about teams that are going to be on the way out looking for
Miami.
the
Yeah.
tropical vacation. Yeah, Miami is. I think if you were to rate all the teams, I think Miami would be number one.
Well,
Uh,
once they lost those two games to who was it? Cincinnati, and who was the other one they lost to?
You mean last week?
The last couple of
Well,
weeks. Yeah,
they beat Tampa, but so
yeah, Tampa.
they
But after they lost,
they lost
there's another game. I think.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, the Pittsburgh game
Yeah,
knocked them out.
yeah.
And then they lost Cincinnati, and then they
Yeah.
came back and beat Tampa, and that's what I'm saying.
But
It's like
that was Tampa.
right,
Tampa can't find a way to close out games when they haven't for 2 months.
right.
But
So
I could see
yeah,
Miami not being that interested in this game.
yeah. I don't think they will be. So
Or even if
it's like
they are, I just don't think talent wise they. You see, with the Saints and we'll go back to just for a moment with the Saints
yeah.
and the Falcons, there's comparable talent for much of those two teams. I can't say that about Miami and New England.
No. There's a huge talent discrepancy here. It's not
Yeah.
even close. Yeah, Miami's pass defense is really bad. They have no pass rush. The secondary's in shambles. This team's just not going to be competitive here, and they have the lack of motivation playing in 25-degree weather. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just feels like a great spot for the Patriots. Even if they only play a half, I feel like the Patriots could easily be up 28-0 at the half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Vrabel has that Bill Belichick mentality. Don't don't let up.
Yep, and he's got a great quarterback, just like Belichick
Yeah.
did too. So yeah, yeah,
So I
we
think
both.
I don't know if I'm going to make it a play, but I'm certainly considering it.
Okay, I will.
Because
Be
there's not a lot. There's not a lot of games I like this week, but
Mhm.
this is one of them.
Yeah, I will be playing this one for sure. Okay, Chiefs at the Raiders. Chiefs are favored by 5.5. Quite the effort that we saw from the Raiders last week, where Max
And
Crosby.
the funny thing is, it wasn't their worst or second worst effort of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
Those were those two 31-0 shutouts where they were held under 100 total yards, and it's more and more looking like Pete Carroll won't be back next year.
I'm hearing that too.
By the way, Chip Kelly, I forget where it was. He just got an offensive coordinator job at
Northwestern. Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern. Yeah.
Yeah.
So put Northwestern on the bet against list next year.
I know. He'll have one good game. People are like, oh, Chip Kelly, and then he'll lose all the other ones. So that's generally how it is with him. The Raiders 0 effort last week. Max Crosby said, "Oh, I want to fight. I want to win this game," and then they put him on IR.
Yeah, now he's. I don't know if I know he left the facility there. I don't know if he's back there to be with his teammates this week because he loves his guys he plays with and all that. So
I'm sure, but his teammates have to be peeved about that. Like how do you fight hard for a coach who just benched his best player, who all he wanted to do?
No, that's what I'm saying. That they're not. I don't think they're pissed at Crosby. I think they're pissed at the coach.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
100%. Some of the players, I'm sure, if we had 35 players like Max Crosby, we wouldn't be 2 and whatever.
Yeah. Crosby makes such a big difference. Like the Raiders were like decent against the run. And then Crosby, he's the best run defender, and they got trampled by the Giants. And even though this is it's so hard to stomach a Chris Aludicon bet when he's favored by 5.5, but I don't see the Raiders trying hard in this game at all. Like I just said, the Dolphins were top the list of no effort. I actually think I made mistakes. Definitely Raiders, and they want to lose. They want to get the top pick. If they win this game, they have a chance to lose out in the top pick to the Giants again. So Depends. Also depends what happens with the strength of schedule. But
See, this is
still,
almost like the opposite to
I
me of
know.
that Saints Falcons game because
I know.
I don't know how motivated Kansas City is either. I'm sure they're just looking for this season to get over because hey, we've been embarrassed this year. Let's just get the hell out of here.
The one thing I can maybe argue for Chiefs
Andy Reid.
motivation. Well, not to, well. Okay, so Andy Reid, we know he'll be back, right? He's not a
Yeah.
lame duck coach like Pete Carroll. But I was gonna say that this could be Travis Kelsey's final game. Like maybe he'll want to score a touchdown or
I don't know
something
that it mattered as much as when it was his final game at home.
at home. Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe because he scored. He caught three passes on that final drive.
We'll find out if Taylor Swift is in the stands here in Vegas on Sunday.
Oh, maybe she wants a trip to Vegas. Why not? Who doesn't want a trip to Vegas? So I that really buried me. By the way, the Kelsey, the 3 catches, because
Oh.
I had a DraftKings lineup that was in third place heading into that final drive. It was winning $6,000, and as ahead of 2 guys who had Travis Kelsey. And by the end of that drive, I was behind those guys, so I did not win my $6,000. So, I was really peeved over that. You could be right. I mean, look, they could be a no show, but I think that there's a better chance that they try hard than the Raiders because the Raiders, we know that the Raiders are not going to try at all. Like we don't know about the Chiefs' effort, so I'm inclined.
The only thing I'll say there, because I'm not going to play the game, but I lean to taking the Raiders, is that again when you come off an embarrassing loss, like you said for again to go back to Atlanta against Seattle,
Yeah.
you sometimes it's a different situation. It's the end of the season, so maybe you really don't as much, but maybe they put a little bit of effort to go against Kansas City, a team that's owned them for years for the most part. I don't know how much it really matters. It's why I'm not. It's why I had to make an opinion in this game. When in doubt, I'll take a home underdog, especially when the team they're facing is down to a third-string quarterback, and the defense, for all their deficiencies, they continue to play hard. Even though last week they seemed to forget about that, they just let the Giants get some really easy big runs on them.
Yeah, and I because they want the top pick, so like they're losing on purpose here. So I don't know how I couldn't back a team that wants to lose on purpose.
See, I always say that it's not the team, it's not the players who want to lose on purpose.
Yeah.
It's the management and the coach. And the way you do it, because players, if you go half speed, you're going to be injured. You got a real good chance. Players go all out. They got contract incentives. They want to make sure of their jobs. And if they know that they're giving up the number 1 draft choice, hey, it could be at their position. So I think coaches' decisions as to who to play, what plays to run, etc., what coaching strategies to use. I think that's how you increase the odds of losing. I won't call it tanking. That's what people will look at it. But tanking means lose, and you still have to lose the game, and you do so by making decisions that you would not make if you're actually trying to win a game.
I 100% agree with that. But we saw the coaching staff bench their best player because they wanted to lose. So it's like the coaching staff wants to.
Well,
lose
he needs surgery, so I can understand that. But if the player wants to be out there and he's willing to risk surgery. And look. I mean, let's get down to the business part of it. They have a lot of money invested in him over the next few years.
That's true. Also, I would expect Kenny Pickett to start this game. Geno Smith, the DNP, maybe he can make it back, but I would think that they're going to go with Pickett.
Does the DNP stand for did not practice or did not perform?
I both maybe with the Geno Smith. He has not performed at all, even though ESPN said he was a top 10 quarterback heading into the year. Somehow, I don't know how.
Well, let's not besmirch ESPN in its entirety. One representative on ESPN. Is she still there with them?
Yeah, somehow. I had no idea how, but yes.
Is she related to Geno Smith?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we had some controversy with Jacina Anderson talking about Shador Sanders so much that I actually got some text saying like, "Is she sleeping with Dion?" And I'm like, well, maybe she's sleeping with Shador. Maybe both. Maybe both. We don't know.
Yeah. No, it's not a game. It's not a game I'm going to play. I printed it. I published it out as just a lean, but it never at any point did I have any inclination to play either side in this game.
Okay, I will be playing the Chiefs. Not as a huge play, but
what's that?
I will be playing the Chiefs. Not as a huge bet, but medium size. I think.
I mean, if I had more, I've had more confidence in the Kansas City, backup quarterback, I might lean that way. But
Hmm.
when in doubt, I'll take the points if I have to.
Yeah, I think if Crosby were playing in this game, I'd be on the Raiders. But he's
You
he's
probably
such
wouldn't
a
get. You
huge
probably
difference.
wouldn't be getting 5.5.
That's yeah, that's
You
certainly
get
true.
4.5 possibly. 5.5 is not a
Yeah,
big, not a big difference, but I'd
yeah,
say more like a 1.5 move than just a point because of the number
yeah,
5.
yeah. I'd still be on the Raiders at 4.5 or 4
Yeah.
at that point if Crosby's playing, but he's not. So it's kind of like the only the only difference maker on that defense. Even though the defense has played well,
Yeah.
better than people think, but that I mean he's such a big difference maker. We saw how bad they were without him last week. It's just
Well, let's put it
night and
this
day.
way: teams basically don't game plan for anyone other really than
Sure.
Crosby.
Right. Exactly.
Where is he at all times? When is he
Right.
likely to have success? When is he likely to back off a bit?
Hmm. Yeah, and the fact that he's so good as a pass rusher and a run
Yeah.
defender,
Yeah.
not having him there like really affects both the pass rush and the run defense. And it's rare for a player to have that big of a difference in both regards. So, all right. So
Yeah. Then the fact that the Raiders couldn't score what they scored 10 points and one touchdown was late against the
yeah,
Giants. That's
yeah.
that's maybe a little bit more indicative of what you call your effort.
Yeah, Brashard Smith anytime touchdown. That's depends what odds you get, obviously, but I think that could be a good bet if you get decent odds there. Okay, so next game is Lions at the Bears. Bears are favored by 3. We talk about how Miami doesn't like to play in the cold, and even though Detroit is in a cold environment, they play indoors, and Jared Goff has a bad history of playing outdoors in the cold weather. So this is going to be a negative for him. And I was looking at the injury report. Now it's only Wednesday, so there's going to be a lot of time here. It looked like half the team was on DNP on Wednesday, including their great tackle Penei Sewell, and we know Taylor Decker has been injured too. So that's the thing. Also, the Lions looks like they have 4 illnesses on Wednesday, so that could indicate that there's the flu going around in the locker room
And
as
it may not
well.
have hit everybody yet.
Right. So anytime I see 3 or more illnesses on an injury report, that kind of raises red flags. And the Bears had that actually last week. Didn't affect them as much as it did the Packers, but still,
They
it's going to be a
clearly got
problem.
it out of their system by Sunday night if it did affect them.
That's true. But yeah, didn't the Packers were pretty hurt by that. But anyway, if the Lions are dealing with that, that's like another thing that's going against them in this game. Their defense is so bad. Caleb Williams is playing great football right now. I would be on Chicago here at -3. What do you think?
I'm right with you. It's one of my top plays of the week. The Bears.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, again, and we talk about handicapping week 18, motivation and all that. And again, we don't know the motivation, but you figure, the Bears have been winning all season. They were very competitive. See, I don't downgrade them at all last week with the loss to San Francisco. That was a game they could have won. It came down to one play.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Buffalo-Philadelphia game. It came down to the 2-point conversion, and Josh Allen threw the worst pass of his career. Okay?
Yep.
Comes down to one play, but it's different with the Bears because they'd been winning, and I give them credit for, it's just like the first game against Green Bay. They held, they were not quite as high as I think the San Francisco game closed -4, so I think it was a push actually for a lot of people. I had San Francisco lower than that.
Yeah.
I had them at -3 because I played them, I think, midweek. But the fact that they came down to the final play and the Bears had a chance to pull the game out because they no, they needed a touchdown. They're down 42-38. That they won. So that was a good effort, and I think they want to just regain that momentum. They know they're playing next week at home. And I also go back to that week 2 game when Dan Campbell decided we're going to be aggressive in the fourth quarter. We got a huge lead. They won 52-21. We're going to continue to pass the ball. We're going to continue to go for a fourth down, and we're going to rub it into Benedict Arnold, Ben Johnson, who left us. Okay,
Right.
I mean, and I don't know if you remember that game, but
Of course, yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I think there's a little extra motivation on the Bears, and they are facing a team again that's not used to playing outdoors in this weather. I mean, the only other place that they would normally play within the division that would equate would be Green Bay, of course. But this team has to be very demoralized at the way that their season has gone.
Yeah.
2 years ago they were one play away from perhaps making the Super Bowl. Last year they suffered all those defensive injuries and were really outclassed, or I won't say outclassed. They were outplayed by Washington. in that game, and they were looking to make amends. And we saw in the revenge game against Washington that I don't know if revenge was a motivating factor. It might have been partially, but they handled the team that handled them last year. But it was all for naught because they're out of the playoffs, and I think that this is a team that they may put forth a good effort, but I think the Bears are going to remember a little bit about what happened in that second game. You're asking them to basically win the game by 4 points or more, 2.5, 3 points, whatever it is, when you get it. So I do like the Bears quite a bit here. And again, a lot of it is just they've had a great season. They have a chance to improve their seed. I think they could be the number 2 seed, right?
They'll be the 2 seed with the win. Yeah.
So I think that's important because they would get to play the Packers again.
Yep. Well, I mean, with Jordan Love being injured and no Parsons, it looks way more appealing than
and we don't know about Malik Willis.
Right.
I mean, he should. I mean, if he's what I think he's questionable for this week, isn't he? Questionable.
So far, he's had one limited practice, so we don't know if he's going to play. So
that's still several days, right? But the thing is that Green Bay will not be at full strength. Well, we don't know about Love, but if he gets cleared to play, it would be a matchup for the Bears. And the Bears know, they could easily they're 1-1, but it could have easily been the other way around where they win the first game and they lose the second game. The one that they rallied, they needed the onside kick and everything. So you just have to like everything Ben Johnson has done. The team is playing with confidence. I like a team that's playing with confidence late.
Yeah, me too. Are you surprised this line is what it is? I was kind of surprised by it. I made this line 4.5, personally.
I probably would have made it a little bit larger. Let me go back and check my worksheet here. I had the Bears 1. I actually had, based on the numbers, I actually had the game a little bit lower than 3, except for my one set of basic power ratings. I actually have the Bears about 7 points right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah. You higher than I do. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised to see a 3. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I think.
See, the thing is, if the Bears win, they're the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at a number like 3, it's unlikely that you're going to win by 1 or 2 to get that number. Number 2 seed. So in other words, the odds makers are basically saying that there's a chance for Detroit because this line should be, you would think, a little bit higher because, and again, talk about motivation in Week 18. What's Detroit's motivation? Again, if there's any motivation, even if the Bears were coming off of a win, hey, you guys embarrassed us in our second game under this coach.
Yeah, that's for sure. Happy New Year Central Time.
Yes, Happy New Year Central Time.
We're talking about the Bears, so yeah, Happy New Year Central Time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, the Bears are playing so well, and they've shown improvement, really on both sides of the football since the start of the season. Notwithstanding last week's game, last week's game against San Francisco was just an old-fashioned shootout, where each team took advantage of the other. I don't know that each team was playing with the same intensity. I think it was a fun game for the players. As far as that goes, and certainly for the fans. So yeah, I'm definitely on the Bears this week. Yeah, you too? I think you said.
Yes. Yeah. I'm on the Bears for sure. I just wish they not for this game, but I just wish they had a pass rush. I'd feel a lot better about them in the playoffs. That's like the one thing they're missing, and I feel like you need a pass rush to win the Super Bowl. But we'll see. I mean, their offense.
Again, it depends what the quarterbacks are they'll be going up against.
Yeah, they run blocks so well. It's pretty impressive what they do. All right. Anyway, we have Jets at the Bills. Bills are favored by 7 points here. We don't know if Josh Allen's going to play. He has a foot injury. He couldn't really run all that much against the Eagles. And look, as you said, the Bills could move up to 5. Although they'll know that if Houston wins, then they can't move up to 5. So they can only move up to 6. But they know that. Go ahead.
By the way, let me see if I can call it up here. That this game on Sunday. Remember, they did not have any advanced lines 10 days in advance for Week 18. This game opened at the Westgate 14.5. It opened, and this. Let me see what time Buffalo played the late game last week. Let me see what time it was that this game opened. The Westgate put out their opening line last week at 4:44 p.m. So I think the Buffalo game was just winding down, or had already ended at that time. 20 of 5 or 20 of 8 Eastern time. So we knew that the Buffalo Bills, hadn't scored many points, and I think we knew that Allen had a banged up uh, foot. Now, interesting is, and the reason I mention that is this so this was last Sunday, the 28th, at 4:44. The game opened 14.5. By that time, the Jets had already, been embarrassed 42-10. By 1 hour later, at 5:45, the game was down to 11.5. On Monday, the 29th, the game dropped to 7. So my thought is there was a great chance that Allen would not play in this game or see very limited action because the Bills have to play next week. Okay, you could go up to number 5, but, number 7, there's a good chance you'll be playing New England again. Okay. Which I don't know is all that great because remember, they won the second game, but they were down 21-0. So, so that does show something. Although in the first game, what was it, a late field goal that New England got to win the game? What was it, 24-21, I think? So that was basically more of an even game, although the Patriots won. But I think the Bills, and I can understand it. I think the Bills think that they can beat any team in the AFC playoffs, and I agree.
I think so too.
Even with the defense, but with their experience. So I think they're saying we don't care if we have to play New England in the first round, Jacksonville in the first round, or whoever ends up as the where they would end up going. I don't think the Bills care where they're playing. Because they know their road to the Super Bowl is almost certainly on the road. Well, it will be on the road if they're the number 7 seed because you can't have a home game because every team you play will be higher. Okay, but I still like Buffalo in this game, and I wrote this one up. And let me see. I think somewhere I made the comment, and I made a lot of things. I'll read this one. Buffalo is currently a number 7 seed, but a win here could improve their seed to 5 or 6, depending upon Houston and the Chargers. And then I said, much like Chicago, Buffalo's coming off a loss. It followed a 4-game winning streak and occurred when Bills quarterback Allen threw one of the worst passes of his career on a 2-point conversion attempt. That was basically the final play of the game against Philadelphia because there was 5 seconds left, and then they were going to try that onside kick. So it was basically the final play. And I say this is as much a play on Buffalo as it is against the 3-13 Jets, who are 0-4 both straight up in their last 4 games, outscored 153-46 with margins of 24, 28, 23, and 32 points. Add to the mix that this is almost certainly the final game the Bills will play in Highmark Stadium. They're home for the past 53 years before they move into their new stadium next season, which is just across the street. It's hard to envision the Jets putting up much resistance in this game, and Buffalo will more likely need to do little more than run the football with the NFL's number 1 rushing offense. Both teams are weak versus the run defensively. The Jets are number 32 in passing offense at 146 yards per game. Buffalo's number 1 in pass defense, allowing 163. They allow almost as many yards passing as they do rushing. They still allow fewer yards rushing, but it's still like number 29. The Jets have 0, and I say that's 0 interceptions this season, and have recovered just 4 fumbles. I got Buffalo winning like 27-10.
Maybe they'll get one from Trubisky if he plays. I don't expect Josh Allen to play.
No,
but
this is almost like the Patriots Dolphins.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Trubisky, it's harder. Like I don't like the Bills as much as I like the Patriots. If you're telling me Josh Allen plays, then 100%. I would.
Well, then this line's 13 or 14, like it opened.
Yeah, and I would still like that more than this. Because I don't, Trubisky to cover 7, like doesn't sound.
That's one score. Where are the Jets going to score? They don't create turnovers.
Well,
you're relying on Brady Cook. Let me that should be the end of the discussion.
I'm not on the Jets, but I think that.
And by the way, he's so bad. Like I said, number 32. And that includes all 3 quarterbacks that have played for them this year, 146 yards per game. If I'm Buffalo, I concentrate on stopping the one thing that the Jets can do on offense, and that's run the football.
Yeah.
I say,
yeah.
Brady Cook, you're going to have to beat us. And unlike you, New York Jets, our defense has had some interceptions this year.
I feel like the Jets could run with Brees Hall, and Brady Cook can run too. He's a pretty good athlete. He's not a good quarterback, but he can run. He runs like a
Running,
4.6.
scoring is another.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying the Jets are going to cover. I still think the Bills cover. And it's funny, the Trubisky is starting, but it's like even though Trubisky's the backup, he's
by
definitely
the way, part of Buffalo's success comes because of their great offensive line that allows them to rush, putting even less pressure on whoever the quarterback is. Just so happens that Allen can do magical things. Trubisky may not have to do too much.
Do you think they sit like Deion Dawkins and Spencer
what do you
Brown?
think of the Bills going for 2 last week? I think it was the right play.
I do too.
Number one, they had kicking issues with the blocked extra point before. The other thing is you have one chance to win the game, and your opponent can't do anything about it. If it goes to overtime, if you go to overtime, it's 50-50. What are the percentages of getting a 2-point conversion? I don't know, but it comes down to one play from 2 yards out, and Buffalo. Look, they should have won the game. Like I said, I was probably literally his worst pass of a career. Guy's wide open. He's not under pressure.
Right.
So it happens. But I think under any circumstances, I would have gone for 2.
Yeah, especially with an injured quarterback, you don't want to keep running him out there.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, imagine that the foot affected that pass. I would have to think so. But anyway, even though the Trubisky's playing, like Trubisky's still better than Brady Cook. I was going to ask you.
In fact, I think the Bills have said, you know what, we're going to put Josh Allen in the game. We'll send Trubisky over. You can play him instead of Brady Cook. In-game trade.
That would be funny. That happened. Anyway, no, I've been feeling that like the Bills might sit some.
By the way, the comment, I think a 2-point conversion is above 50%. I don't know how many. What the sample size is, but I think with 2-point conversions, you really have to take a look at the individual teams' percentages because teams approach those plays so differently. Some teams will go for more on the run. Some will use motion. Some will use the pass. Philadelphia used the tush push even from 2 yards out. Well, maybe that's a bit of that, but because it's when you talk about teams, 30. This team is 39% defensively on third downs or offensively, or the league average is that. But then again, that's also that's a play that happens very, very often. 2-point conversions don't happen that often, so you could find that 50% is because a handful of teams are 65%, and a handful of teams are 35%, and a handful of teams are 50%. But how many? I don't have the numbers. Do you have a rough idea of how many 2-point conversions are attempted each season by a team? Would it be an average of 1 a game?
I don't have. I wish I could have the number. I have the percentage of how each team has done this year.
Yeah, but it's just, I want to know, is it based on 30 attempts for a team or 15 attempts for a team?
I would think.
Because then the percentages are a little bit more meaningful with 30, but I think it's closer to 15
per team.
Yeah,
number
of attempts.
I think it's far less than that.
Okay,
because
I was being conservative.
Right now, there are 6 teams this year that are 100% at 2-point conversions. The Lions, Patriots.
Yeah,
Chargers,
but how many? What is it? 2 for 2 or 8 for 8?
Right. I that's why I think it's a low number because if it was a high number, it would be very unlikely that they all be 100%. I'll say this. We know the Bills have had at least 7 or 14 2-point conversions because they are 14.29% from 2. So that means they're either 1 of 7 or 2 of 14 or 3 of 21, but that's unlikely.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's a little high, but it could be,
Yeah.
I mean, look, we remember there was that year where Mike Tomlin said, I'm the smartest guy in football. We're going to go for 2 on our first touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Tomlin.
I don't think that lasted the season, by the way.
No, Pittsburgh's 50% this year. Actually, there are only 10 teams that are above 50% 2-point conversions this year.
Yeah. And again, it does depend. Again, something like that does. When you talk about percentages, first of all, the smaller the sample size, the less significant it is statistically. But also, there can be a great variation between the number of attempts that a team tries and another attempts that another team tries. Like, in other words, a team may be 3 for 3, which is 100%, but they've only attempted 3 and made 3. Another team may be 7 for 10, which is 70%, which is very good, but they've attempted 10 and they've made 7 of them, which is more than twice as many as the team that was 3 for 3. So that's 70%, while not statistically significant because only a 10 data point sample size is not that great, but it puts a little bit more comfort in a level. I have more confidence in a team that's 70% over 10 plays, and again, it's not a great deal of confidence, or at a high degree of confidence, than I would with a team that's 3 for 3.
Andy, I have the answer. So there's only one team that has attempted 8 2-point conversions this year.
So it's much less than I thought.
Yes, Tampa Bay has attempted 8. The Colts, Redskins, Jets, Bills, Texans, Broncos.
What did the Tampa Bay make? How many?
Let's see.
Or does Tampa, it not say?
I have to toggle between.
You can tell me the percentage. You can tell me the percentage. I can tell you how many they made.
Yeah, 25%. So they've hit
two of 8. 2 out of 8. Yeah.
2 of 8. Yeah. So Bills, Colts, Redskins, Jets, Texans, Broncos tried 7 times. And then you had a bunch of teams at 6 times. Tennessee is the only team in the NFL who has not attempted a 2-point conversion this year.
Well, that's because they haven't found the end zone more than 4 times.
That's true. Although
Detroit, not quite that bad, but yeah.
Here's something interesting.
What is Detroit? I'm curious on that.
Detroit is hold on. I don't know if they can convert this or not. Let me see.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Detroit is 1 of 1 in 2-point conversions this year. As aggressive as Dan Campbell is, he's only tried 1 2-point conversion, and he hit it.
Maybe because the score situation at the time didn't really call for a 2-point conversion.
Yes, yeah. Rams, Chargers, and Rams all tried only 1. Steelers
only tried 1. Rams, Chargers, and who?
Sorry. So Rams, Chargers, Lions. Steelers, Saints, Ravens, and Packers have only tried 1 this year. So it happens very seldom. So it's surprising. Yeah, you would think that Sean McVay would try too often. Tomlin.
Again, I think it depends upon situation and time of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I keep blasting Dan Campbell. First quarter, you have first and goal on the 4. You don't make it on the first 3 attempts. Take the damn 3 points. You got 52 minutes to make up the touchdown that you did, to make up the 4 points that you just blew.
Yeah, and especially in a game you think it's gonna be lower scoring. It's not like you're playing the 99 Rams. You need touchdowns. So.
Well, even in high scoring games, you still need points. What makes you think you're going to get it on the 4th attempt if you haven't gotten it on the first 3, that it's worth giving up 3 points? You're trading a possible 3 for a possible 7, or a possible 7 for 0.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So what's 3 out of 7 is what? 42%.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you better have better than a 42% of chance of making that thing if you're going for 4th and 2 from 1.
Yeah.
So, in any event, that assumes that you're probably close to 100% on a short field goal if you don't go for it from the 1. Now the offset to that argument, of course, is quite naturally, well, if we don't make the field goal if we don't make the touchdown on 4th and 1 from the 1, they're on their 1-yard line. We could get a safety or 3 and out, and we'll get the ball back at midfield and have a chance to go down there again. So I can understand that argument, but I still prefer, in most cases, depending upon the defense and your own offense, taking up. So I'm gathering that you are leaning Jets in this game.
No, I'm leaning Bills.
Oh, okay.
Do you like, how much do you like the Bills?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. As I said, it's a play on Buffalo, considering coming off the loss and all that. But, when you've given up, what did I say the numbers were? 24, 28, 32, and 23, something right along those lines, 107 points more than you've scored. Remember, they've only scored 40, as bad as that 107-point differential is,
mm-hmm.
scoring 46 points is 11.5 points a game over the last month, over the last 4 games.
Oh, they're dreadful. They're absolutely
Yeah,
dreadful. The Jets.
yeah.
I worry about motivation here for the Bills. Like I don't know how much they care, what seed they are.
Well, I
As you
simply
said,
see.
like
I don't think that it matters if they care. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball,
right,
run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
right,
You
right.
can score. And well, look, if the Bills have 10% motivation, that might be 10% more than the Jets have.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance the Bills sit some starters here in addition to Allen, but
Yeah.
I think their backups are better than the Jets starters. So that's why
Well,
I
in
settled
many
on the
cases,
Bills.
yes. I don't know about defensively, but the Jets' defense isn't all that great, and we've seen that over
Right.
the majority of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the Bills are deep in some areas of their defense, especially their pass defense. So, all right, let's get to this next game. Redskins at the Eagles. This line was 7 on Tuesday, and I know that because I bet the Redskins +7,
Oh,
and now the line is 4.
where'd you find the Redskins?
Sorry, what?
Hey, where did you find the Redskins listed?
They were my the sports book Boomer 2019 calls old teams by their old names.com.
Oh, do they do that? Do they call the Tennessee Oilers?
Yeah.
Do they seriously?
It,
Because I don't know. Yeah.
it's confusing because then if you want to bet the Cleveland Browns, you're not sure if you're betting the Ravens.
Yeah,
You
that's what.
know,
Yeah, yeah. Do they
it's
call it
screws
the
up
Baltimore Browns,
the
or they just call them the Browns?
the Dallas Texans
Yeah,
or
Dallas
no,
Texans.
yeah.
What was it? The Los Angeles, whatever they were before the Chargers,
The
San Diego Chargers.
San Diego Chargers, the
I forget
LA
what they were.
they have LA Raiders.
Where they were. Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, let's
Do
see,
they call the Eagles the Steagles when they were
it's
merged
the
with
Eagles.
the
The
Steelers
one
for a few
year
years in the war years? Yeah,
was it 1 year or multiple year? I thought it was 1 year.
maybe I thought it was multiple years, but not many. I
Okay,
think. I think
okay,
it was during World
okay.
War II, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
the
be
Kansas City Texans.
yes.
Although Tex
The New York
never the Kansas City
the New York was it
Titans,
the
the
New
New
York
York
Titans,
Titans,
right?
who became the Jets. Yeah,
Yep.
the book must make
It's,
a ton of money, not with the bettors not realizing that they do that. Did they seriously do that, or you're just kidding around on that one?
yeah, they have no idea who's who they're betting on,
Yeah.
right? Evan says square line. Walt played skins +8.5. Well, I don't play anything until Tuesday because I can't I can't type up a future game and put it on the site. So the 7 is the best
Well,
line.
there's always that trade off that you always talk about. Now that the old line used to be play favorites early, play underdogs late because the public bets favorites. That's not necessarily
No.
as true today as it used to be, but that's the old trade-off. You often
Yeah.
get the best number early in the week. Okay. At the same time, by betting early in the week, you are risking any adverse information that might occur, and especially in a week 18 where you don't know what a lot of these teams are going to do until Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious the Eagles would sit their starters because they don't play their starters in week 18. They have a long history of not caring what their seat is. So and I thought at the time I was like, okay,
I just wonder,
maybe,
can the Commanders do anything about it?
that's what I was thinking.
With
I
their
was like,
backup.
right. I was thinking that like I would take the Redskins +7 and then bet the Eagles at what I thought might be 3.5. It's 4 now, so you don't get the 4.
Monitor it. Well, 4's not a bad number to play, because touchdown
Yeah.
between a touchdown and field goal. But what you should do is monitor it, and if you start seeing 4.5 show up, maybe you do bet the -4.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Tanner McKee, I think, is a better quarterback than Josh Johnson. I think the Eagles' backups could be better than what the Redskins are putting out on the field. I think McKee could have a huge game. I like the Redskins at +7. If this line is 4, I think I'd take the Eagles at 4. So
I like McKee. I like him playing.
I do too. Yeah, the Irish.
So I'm not uncomfortable laying the 4 with the Eagles.
Yeah. I feel the same way. The Irish assassin, so good. So my whole theme here was trying to middle the game, and that's what I'm going to try to do here. So you like Philly?
Yeah, yeah, I like Philly.
Is that a big
It's
opinion
a play.
or
It's a modest opinion.
okay? I think I feel the same way about that. Um,
I think I like the. Let me see here. Which one we've talked about? I like Buffalo more. I like the Giants more. I like Cincinnati more, and
mhm,
I like Chicago more.
okay,
But it
okay,
might very well be the fifth play if I play the others on the contest. I'm not sure.
okay.
It's really, there's really, I
Um,
mean, this is one of those weeks where I either have an opinion on a game or I really don't like it, but I got to come up with a lean.
that's this week 18 in a nutshell, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's,
exactly.
it's yeah, it's tough to
And
handicap this one.
in some games like the Giants and Cowboys, they're really not playing for anything. But
Mhm.
the Giants are getting a look at Dart, and they're playing well. They made the game plan for him a little bit last week, and Dallas. Dallas. Well, they both have weak defenses. I just think the Giants have been playing better.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, let's get to the next game. We have two more Western games here, and then the Sunday night game. We have Cardinals at the Rams. The Rams are favored by 7.5. Sean McVay said his starters will play. Now, he didn't say they'll play the full game.
Yeah,
If the 49ers win, then the Rams are locked into the 6th seed. If the Seahawks win, the Rams can get to the 5 seed, which means they would go to at Carolina or at Tampa, which I
Tampa.
think
Yeah,
means a lot to them because if they stay at the 6th seed, then they would play at Philadelphia, which just seems like a nightmare to have
yeah.
in the first round. So I think if the Seahawks win, I think the Rams will play the starters for the full game. If the Niners win, I think the Rams
Or
win.
at least until necessary. If they're up 34-13 with 6
Right,
minutes to go,
right,
you won't see the starters. But I
right.
think the Rams want to put after their last few weeks. I don't know that they ever recovered really from the shock of losing at Carolina because they've not been the same team since then. They had one good effort there. I think they blew out Arizona the following week.
Yeah, they
But
blew out
I think,
Arizona, and then they had a great 3 quarters against Seattle, and then
yeah, well, and I
they
think that
didn't.
that's another one that sort of like reinvents that reinforced the shock from the game against Carolina. So
Mhm.
I think the Rams are in need. I wouldn't say in need. They're still. I think they're still the favorites to win the NFC. It's right close between them and Seattle.
Yeah,
But I think they would like to gain whatever confidence that might be a little bit shaken. They won't tell you that the confidence is shaken, but I guess if you're in that locker room, you could probably guess what the talk might be. That I think they want a good performance, and I think Stafford wants a good performance. So they're finding the perfect foe here.
yeah. I could see that if the Niners win, if the Niners win, I could see them maybe putting forth like a great first half, and then McVay's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's enough. That's enough.
I think enough to get a 2 and possibly 3 score lead. If they get up by 17, I think they will rest starters, assuming it's the second half. If
Yeah.
they're up 24-7, not quite the 26-7, they were up against Philadelphia and managed to blow it, but that was on the road.
Yes. So for me, how I'm going to approach this game is going to depend on what happens Saturday night. If Seattle wins, then I will be betting the Rams pretty heavily. I don't think the Cardinals stand a chance against them. The Cardinals defense has been so ravaged by injury. They can't stop
Well,
anything.
what if the 49ers win? Would that
Then if the
does
49ers
you
win,
play it, but maybe play it less?
yeah, I either would not play it or play it a little bit on the Rams because, like you said, they could be up, like you said, 24-3 at halftime. They bench the starters. They only win 24-17 because the Cardinals score
Yeah, but
garbage
the
time.
Cardinals can't score.
They could score. They're great in garbage time. This team thrives in garbage time.
They were early in the year.
Yeah, but if it's against backups, yeah, I think they could score against
The
backups.
Rams backups are probably as good as the Cardinals starters at most positions.
Yeah, maybe if they're just as good, then maybe they can score a little bit and cover the spread. I don't know. I like
Yeah, but we can't really. It's hard to play the if scenario. I mean, before the game. Yes, if indeed the Rams are up 20, if the Rams are up 24-17, they might rest the starters if it's late in the game.
yeah,
We don't
that's
know.
true.
As long as they know that they're winning or whatever. So I will back. Would you back the Rams in the first half?
I think that's the best way to approach this. If San Francisco wins,
Yeah,
then yeah, first
I
half, yeah.
would think that the Rams will come out. Well, look, they beat them. What was it 45-28 or 45-17? They won by 28
Yeah, and I had a
just
big
a
play
few
on the
weeks
Rams
ago.
in that game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think we both did.
yes. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's a good call. First half, if San Francisco wins, but if Seattle wins,
yeah,
I like them regardless. The first half, the whole game doesn't matter. So,
yeah,
um, okay,
yeah.
all right. So,
They might. There are a couple of teams that. Yeah, a couple of teams. I think Chicago might be a good first half play, although for the full game, you know,
mm,
I don't know what the first half line is. It might just very well be the same three. Let me see if
um,
I can find first half line here.
for this game,
Okay, for
for the Bears game.
the Bears, I'm showing 1.5. Not a lot of places haven't put their first half lines up yet because I guess they're waiting for more certainty about starters. But I'm showing 1 and 1.5 on the. I'm showing that
Yeah,
locally. DraftKings half -12.
yeah. For this game, I'm showing 5.5 for the Rams first half line.
Oh, for the Rams, let me see that one.
It's on Bookmaker.
Yeah, I'm trying to
That
see what
line.
we have here. First half. I am showing 6.5 and 7 at a couple of local shops, and
Wow.
6.5 at DraftKings, and I haven't gone further down of the 48 or whatever number of books are shown on the
Okay.
screen here.
Well, all right. Well, 5.5 is a good bargain then.
Yeah,
For this one, and then
yeah.
on Bookmaker, I Bears -2, so not as good of a bargain as what
Okay.
you have. So
Yeah,
just trade off. So that's why it pays to have access to multiple sports books.
multiple outs. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We have two more games. Well, hold on. I actually. So you like the Rams, but how much? How much do you like the Rams?
Um, if I were to rate 1, 2, and 3, 1 being a solid play, 2 being a decent play, and 3 being a no play or a lean, I'd probably put the Rams in a 2.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we
In
have.
other words,
Yeah. Yeah.
better than most of the leans, but not a definite will play,
Okay.
or definitely not will play the top level.
Okay. All right. We have Chargers at the Broncos. Broncos are -12.5. We had Cassandra was saying about something about this game or earlier. We went heavy on Denver minus
What
11
was
and a
that?
half earlier. I think that line could hit 14.5. So we know the Chargers will sit their starters. Jim
Yes.
Harbaugh said that. I was surprised by that actually because last year, well, they were locked into the 6th seed, I believe, or
Yeah.
5, whatever seed they were locked into last year. They played their starters completely, and they blew out the Raiders. So I thought heading into
Yeah.
this week,
How well did that serve them the next week?
right? Yeah. So maybe Jim Harbaugh is adjusting his plans here. So credit to him at least for recognizing that was a stupid decision. So this is going to be Trey Lance and a bunch of backups against Denver.
Yeah.
And I know Denver, they're so hard to bet as a big favorite because they haven't won in blowouts this year except for Dallas. And I think there's one the
Isn't
Bengals
it a
game
similar
against Jake
situation
Browning.
to last year when they blew out Kansas City, who said everybody? But I think
Yep.
didn't Denver need to win that one to make a wild card,
Yes, Denver needed that game.
as
Yeah,
opposed to already being in the playoffs?
right. And Kansas City had no reason to play anyone, so they
Exactly.
sat
And they
everyone.
didn't. Yeah.
Right. But
It's
Denver.
a similar situation, except that Denver's in the playoffs, and
Mhm.
you don't have to play everybody. You know, when you're looking just to make the playoffs with a win, you want to get as comfortable a win as you can because if the team happens to come back, you're out of the playoffs. Here they're playing for the number 1 seed, and I think if the bye is important, but I don't think it's not as important as needing to win to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
Even
Yeah.
though it's a nice reward, if you play everybody to make the playoffs and you don't win, you're out. Here, if you play everybody or nobody and you don't win the game, you're number 2 or 3 seed. You're still in the playoffs
Right.
and you're hosting a game.
Yeah, that's true. I do like Denver though. They're so hard to back as a big favorite. They've only
Yeah.
had 2 blowout wins this year against the Cowboys and the Jake Browning led Bengals. But if this is like if this is Trey Lance and a bunch of backups, then I feel like they're on that level of Jake Browning's Bengals. So
By the way, this is another game when the line came out Sunday evening at the. I'll use the Westgate, but I could use the Circa as well because Circa came out a little later. This line came out at 4:54, which means the Chargers, who had played, I think, on Saturday, and Denver played. When did Denver play? They also played on Saturday because they were Kansas City. Line was 4.5 on the 28th. By the end of the 28th, which was Sunday night, that line was already up to 8. And I guess that was on the expectation, perhaps, that some people must have known that Harbaugh was going to sit players. He must have announced it on Monday, the 29th, because the line, it closed the last adjustment was 6 p.m. on the 28th. It had moved from 8.5. It actually had gotten as high as 9.5, moved down to 8.5, and closed Monday evening at 8. And then when it opened or in the middle of the afternoon, so betting was on the way for a few hours, it went from 8 to 10 and then up to 12.5.
Right.
So, so 12.5, and I have a feeling that given what you said, and I agree with you about Denver, I have a feeling the Sharps are waiting to take the Chargers, just seeing how high this number goes. And this number may not reach 14 and may end up closing back down at 10.
Wow.
Because the Broncos are not a blowout team, except, when they play the Bengals and was the one other team they blew out.
The Cowboys, yeah.
And the Chargers have a decent defense.
If the starters are playing though, and I know you can't bench all the starters, but I feel like the main ones like the Khalil Mack is not seeing the field in this game, so it's a completely different defense.
But even with Denver's offense, because I'm sure Denver. Well, I wouldn't say that Denver may not want to rest players because they're off next week, but they still might want to just if they're up 31-13, maybe they rest players, and I don't think the Chargers come back at that point. But if this is a 23-17 game, Denver lost 3 straight games to the Chargers, including earlier this season.
Yeah.
Now, and by the way, that would obviously mean they've lost 3 times to Bo Nix because Bo Nix was the starter last year as a rookie. Now, unless he missed some time, which I don't recall. But nonetheless, is this a question of maybe Peyton and Nix and the teams? They got the Chargers number. They know something about the Chargers that maybe they've been able to exploit. I don't have the recall on those games, from last year and earlier this year. I think this year the game was week 2. Because if I remember correctly, the Chargers opened with 3 straight division games, and they won them all. And this was the middle one, I think, of the 3. No, they played the third one. Raiders. Played the Raiders in week 2. Yeah. So for me, this is just I actually have Denver -8. So when I put this together, the line had already been down to -8 after it reached as high as 10. Well, let me see that again. Maybe I'd done it before. Maybe I made
this 11.5.
Yeah. Let me see what I made it on this one. I made this game. Well, again, my numbers are without the injuries factored in, because the numbers, we have to. And I had the Broncos less than an 8-point favorite, against a healthy Charger team.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, that's power ratings. That's just numbers based on everything we've seen. Remember, and you yourself, I think Evan as well, have not been overly impressed with what Denver has done.
Right.
So I'm not. So you wouldn't be surprised that number-wise they are closer to the Chargers than you would normally think. And the Chargers, they've got 1 less win than the Broncos, or 2 less wins maybe.
If the Chargers were playing everyone, I would have made this line Denver -1.5.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And the lines maker probably made it 4.5, and that was because we didn't know what the Chargers were going to do. Because I'm guessing that Harbaugh probably announced it on Monday because we saw the initial wave of Denver money on Sunday, 4 to I think when I said 4.5 up to 9.5, and it dropped down to 8 at the close of business Sunday, and then they took some Denver money, I guess, early on Monday, and around 1 p.m. they moved it to 10, and it kept going up throughout the day. That I think it's at 12.5 when they, which I'm showing is the last time that Westgate moved that number. Let me see Circa, because Circa, I said they opened at around 450. Circa opened their line about 2 hours later at 6:20. So when
Mm-hmm.
Circa opened the game, Denver was 7. By the end of the night, they were up to 7.5, and then uh, also at about the time that the Westgate moved from 8 to 10, and Westgate's has been a little bit more of a rogue number this year. They've been out of line by a half a point, maybe to a point on a lot of these games. So maybe they're taking more of an opinion than their fellow bookmakers, one way or the other. So when the line moved around 1 o'clock from at Westgate from 8 to 10, right around that same time, it quickly moved. In fact, it must have been one bet or an error. I'm showing at 1:32 and 8 seconds, the line moved from 7.5 to 9.5, and then 11 seconds later, it was up to 10, which is where the Westgate was, and then it moved up to 11.5 within the next half minute, and then it sat there for about 2 hours, and it moved up to 12.5, and they've not moved it since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it made sense. I think the announcement was on Monday.
yeah,
Because I actually wrote this game up a Saturday night after
mm-hmm.
both teams had
Haven't
played.
both played, yeah.
Right. Because try to get ahead.
What did you say? What did you say that? What did you make the line when you wrote it up?
Well, given that I thought
Because
the Chargers would play the
you probably thought
starters,
the Chargers that they would play the starters or would rest some starters or
I thought, yeah, well, based on last year, I thought they would play the starters again, and so
okay.
I made the line Denver -1.5.
Okay. So now my question to you is
Yeah.
the resting starters, is that worth an 11-point difference in the line? From 1.5
I
to
think,
12.5.
yeah, I think because I'm now my line is 11.5, so it's 10
Okay, well, a
points.
10-point difference.
Yeah, yeah.
They say a
Because
quarterback is worth what, 3 to 5 points most cases?
yeah, yeah, really, I guess depends on the situation, the backup, but
Yeah.
to me, the Chargers go from being a slightly above average team to being one of the worst teams in the NFL this week.
I see. I don't see them dropping that much as long as you have a defense that can play, and you're going up against an offense that is mediocre.
But their defense is not going to play though, because there's no
Well,
Khalil Mack.
look, how
They're
many
gonna.
defensive players play during the course of a regular game? Most of them do. They split snaps. So all you're asking is you're going to ask some of the guys who come in relief to play more snaps this week.
Yeah, but you're not going to get Khalil Mack's not going to play. At
No.
all.
How much is he worth to a line? 1 point?
Yeah, but once you keep adding up guys, who
Yeah.
else is not going to play?
Most guys are not worth more than half a point, if that.
Like Derwin James is not going to play.
You still got to go a long way to get up to 10 points. Or in fact, you know what? I'm not even going to use your line of 1.5. I'm going to go with the opening line at Westgate of 4.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's no quarterback. There's no Mac. There's no Derwin. There's probably not going to be.
Well, I don't know
McConkey.
how do you consider Trey Lance one of the worst quarterbacks? He's played better in his limited time under Harbaugh than he did in his previous stops in Dallas and San Francisco.
And Evan makes a good point. They're not going to game plan for this either. Like they don't care about this game, and that makes a big difference. Like if this is do or die, and Herbert was out, and they had let's say like Herbert and Mac and Derwin James were all injured, but you have Jim Harbaugh game planning for Denver. That is a massive difference than they would with this vanilla game plan. There's not even going to be a game plan. It's just like, okay, just run the ball, throw the ball. They're not going to prepare for
Denver still has to execute. And they still have to stop the Chargers from scoring at all. And Denver doesn't,
Yeah, and the Chargers.
I'm not recommending a case for the Chargers because again, I have an opinion on Denver minus. I'm just saying, laying double digits with Denver against a playoff caliber team, even with starters out, you don't get to the playoffs just on the basis of your starters. And the Chargers have proven that all year because they've had to play so many backups, just like the 49ers have. So you don't make the playoffs by being a lousy team, except for your starters. You've got depth there that goes to backups. You've got injuries, and these guys fill in. So I'm just saying that Denver has to score 16 points to cover 12.5.
Yeah, it could be 16-3. Yeah, it could be 16-3 easily. I feel like it'll be like 23-10 or something. 23-10 or something.
I would tend to think it'd be more like 20-10.
Well, that's pretty close.
No, that's a field goal versus a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with this too. Chargers this week will be similar to Kansas City last year. Yeah, I agree totally. Um, I don't see with no game plan whatsoever. Like given that they don't care about this game, I just don't see them
Chargers
doing it.
don't need much of a game plan. They know Denver. Denver knows Chargers. The
Yeah,
first
but
time they played was, then everybody. Well, I think everybody was basically healthy. It was a 3-point game,
yeah,
and
it's
Denver beat
3 point
them.
game.
And Denver beat them. I don't know what the scores were last year. Let me see what they played. If they played twice
There
last
there
year,
were
I know
but
Denver.
yeah
Denver both won
the
both games.
Chargers blew out Denver the first time, and then it was the second time was close as a Thursday night game.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Chargers won both games last year. Let me see.
Yeah,
The first game, Denver lost 23-16.
that was 23
And
nothing.
later
It's 23 nothing at the end of the third.
last year.
Yeah, it's
I
23
don't care
nothing at
what
the end of the third.
I don't care what it was the end of the third. Are you betting a third quarter line? You're betting a 60-minute line.
Garbage time. That
23-16.
doesn't count.
Oh, 23-16. What's that? It does
Garbage
count.
time. It's garbage time. They're
It counts as far as the play. Hey, if they're up 23-0, if Denver's up 23-0 in this game after 3 and they win 23-16, do you cover with your Denver bet? Of course not.
Yeah, but we're talking about if the game was competitive.
Last year it was 34-27. How competitive is 23-0 last year?
I mean, they couldn't score until garbage time.
It was non-competitive for 3 quarters.
Yeah, it wasn't competitive. Yeah, and then
you don't think there'll be garbage time this year? This game?
Yeah, I mean, there could be. Yeah, we're talking about if the Chargers are competitive or not.
Well, we're talking if.
I mean, Denver. If Denver was competitive or not, and they were not in that game. Like it was a clear.
No, but they came back and they would have covered the 12 points.
I don't understand. But
Chargers aren't going out there to lose. They're going to go out there and not play their best, not because of effort, but because of who's playing there. That's kind of like what teams do to tank.
Yeah, I mean,
players go out there play their
tanking,
best,
but they're not going to.
Yeah, I know Denver beat Kansas City last year, 38-0.
It's going to be like that.
That was last year.
There's a good line. There's a good chance it's like that. I think
it could be. I'll bet anyone. I'll take the Chargers plus 37.5 right now.
37.5. Luckily, that is not the line. 37.5 would be.
Line was 10.5 last year. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. I like Denver here. If they were playing a team that was trying, then I would not. But
consider this.
Yeah.
All Denver has to do. They win the game 24-23. They're the number 1 seed. So let's say Denver's up by 23-0.
Mm-hmm.
All the starters are pulled. Now it's an even game.
Yeah.
And now the Chargers are saying, they would still continue to play. Kansas City last year didn't care at all.
Yeah, the Chargers.
They were the number 1. Well, it depends. Who are they going up against for possibly improving their seed? Buffalo. When is Buffalo play? Buffalo is playing
at
the same time. Okay. Yeah. And they are going up against Houston.
Yeah.
And Houston will have already probably won their game.
Yeah.
So I would think that the Chargers would like to play. Well, actually, in their case, they would like to play Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
Right, but they're probably not a possibility if Houston wins at 1 o'clock. They'll know the results. So
no, but they won't know they won't know the. Where are they seated now? Chargers.
They are 6 right now.
They are 6th.
Yeah.
So if Houston wins, the Chargers are either going to be 6 or 7.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know who would win the tiebreaker between Buffalo and the Chargers.
The Chargers have the tiebreaker right now.
So they would finish 6th where they're at now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if they cared, they would play the starters, right? If they care about their seating, this seems like they don't care.
No, and I agree that most teams don't care.
Yeah, I think so. I think agree with that too.
But you do have to worry about Denver resting players. All they need to do is win the game. They don't need to win by a margin.
Yeah.
And who says if let's say they're up 14-3, that they don't just run the ball, take 8 minutes off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they try a field goal. Maybe they punt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I I don't. I mean, look, I don't think they bench the starters at only 23-0 because it's only three scores. But I do. I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, I
What do you mean,
mean, maybe
23 nothing? Sure, Denver would rest starters.
it's only three scores. I mean, if it's
It's
5 minutes
only three
left, sure.
scored
But
against. It's only three scores against a high school team, according to you.
yeah, but it's still three scores. Like they're not going to put
Well,
themselves
three
at risk
scores.
for losing
You
one
you
team.
said that. Well, wait a minute. So you said that Denver scores 16 points. It's enough to cover 12 and a half.
Um,
They're not going to
but
rest their start. They're not going to rest the scores if they're up 16-0. And by the way,
yeah,
23-0 depends
what is
upon when in the
nothing?
game it is.
Right. I mean, look, if there's 5 minutes left, they'll bench the
By the
starters.
way,
But
12 minutes to Happy New Year in Denver.
that's true.
Yeah.
So rest starters when it's 42-3, not 24. Yeah, if there's 5 minutes left, sure, they might pull their starters with 5 minutes left. But like beginning of fourth quarter, if it's 23-0, they're not pulling the
All right.
starters. It'll depend on what
All right. We'll see
how
what
much
happens.
time there's. Yeah, it depends how much time.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not a game I'm playing even at -8.
Okay. Okay. I'm playing Denver. I think I assume Evan is as well. Just based
Oh,
on
he just offered me a $1,000 bet at laying 20.5. I'm not going to take 20.5.
well, it's a 10-1. He offered. Give me
Yeah.
10-1. I'll lay 20.5. That'd be fun. All right. I wonder what the price would be at the alt line. So and
We'll find out.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Okay. All right. The Sunday night game, Ravens at the Steelers. Ravens are favored at 3.5.
Easy handicap.
Okay. I think you're on Pittsburgh, just based on because the Steelers and Ravens always play close games.
It's 3.5. We don't know about Lamar, and even if Lamar plays, I don't know that. Given how Huntley has played, I don't know how much of a unless he's 100%.
Huntley. It's I mean it's Huntley is not on.
No, I'm saying what's that?
Huntley's not on the injury report. What do you mean?
Is he on the injury report? What's he on for?
Huntley's not on the injury report.
No, that's what I'm saying. That I don't know that Huntley versus Lamar Jackson at less than 9%, let's say.
Yeah. By the way, this is a first for Lamar Jackson. We always made fun of him how he was DMP the first day of the week. He is full today. He was full on Wednesday, so that's a good sign, I guess. That he.
Well, it depends. It depends what the practice was. If it was 90% handing the balls off to Derrick Henry, that's one thing as opposed to throwing passes or running.
Yeah, and of course we know that.
By the way, congratulations to John Harbaugh.
No,
I said before, he realized that Derrick Henry is eligible to play in the second half.
He didn't know. Now he knows. So congratulations are in order for sure. That was we at least made money on Derrick Henry's rushing props last week. That was nice. We had 200 plus at like 8-1 or whatever it was. So he hit that. That was great. Anyway, so okay. I would ordinarily say yes. Pittsburgh plus 3.5.
By the way, it's not a great play. I mean, it's kind of like the Rams. Okay, it's in between a 1 and a 2. Okay. It's closer to a 2 probably. But what I was going to say is that it's a history. These coaches know each other. I think they've met 80 times, I think, since they became coaches, including a couple of playoff meetings. And they've been, I think like more than half of them have been one-score games. And I think about 40 of those games have been, or maybe 30 of the games have been 4 points or less. And that goes back 20 years. So there's been up and down periods for both teams. They haven't played as many 3-point games, lately, but, they played a 5-point game. And of course, that was the one where, Baltimore arguably had a touchdown taken away from him, which we don't know what would have happened if they had the lead, and then Pittsburgh comes down and kicks a game-winning field goal, which would have been another one-score game. But I like look, Aaron Rodgers is still capable of making big plays. I would give him a little bit of an edge there. The game is in Pittsburgh. These are this is a true rivalry because you've had the same coaches there for 17, 18 years. So you've been basically building up reliable rivalry, if you want to call it that, because they know so much about each other. They know each other's tendencies, and it's the concern I have, and it's a little bit different than when the Ravens were favored at home against the Patriots. Now the Patriots and the Steelers played, but forget about that game because they had all the turnovers there. But the Steelers are still a more experienced team than this New England team was, and Baltimore is playing with desperation, and they could not hold a late lead. I'm not saying that they can hold a late lead against the Steelers because they've had. Well, what did we say about Harbaugh? Is he like one of the all-time leaders in giving up leads of 10 points or more or something?
Yeah.
And his reputation as a coach, I think, has taken a decline over the last 3 or 4 years because of their failures in the playoffs. And who's been the quarterback in the playoffs? Lamar Jackson.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think you and I think we may have talked about it before we went on the air, that Jackson could very well have had an injury that was undiagnosed for a good part of the season.
Yeah, because he was not running very much.
He wasn't running at the beginning. Yeah, he wasn't doing that either.
I remember having Lamar Jackson over rushing yard props for the Detroit game.
Oh, by the way, I want the Ravens to win because I have some futures, but I have to take the points with. I'm going to take the points with the Steelers and hope that it's a 20-17 type game.
Okay, I'm always down to take the Steelers at plus 3.5 at home against the Ravens. Usually that seems.
In fact, I probably will end up taking the Steelers on the money line to hedge some future plays on Baltimore plus 160.
Okay. I have some exactas on the Ravens, which may not come to fruition anyway, but I still would like to see them win as well. But yeah, like I said, I would normally like the Steelers here plus 3.5, but given that the Steelers are not going to have their top offensive player and they're not going to have their best defensive player, I think that just limits them so much. Their offense, they can't do anything downfield with no Metcalf. Like there's no talent there to go downfield. If Metcalf were playing this game, I think the Steelers would be the right side. But no Metcalf, no TJ Watt. It's just
wait a minute. If they had Metcalf, they might be favored in this game, or pick them.
Yeah, maybe. But at that point, okay, then the Steelers could win outright instead of just losing by 3. But I don't think that they can really score reliably. I really don't see them doing much offensively at all. Baltimore is number 1 against the run in the past 2 months. So not good. Since week 9, Baltimore is number 1 against the run. They don't allow anything on the ground. They have nothing to fear downfield. And so it's like what? How is Pittsburgh going to do anything here offensively? Whereas like no TJ Watt, even if the Ravens are stricken by their quarterback situation, like no TJ Watt is a big difference. So I actually like Baltimore here, but it's not a big opinion at all. I'm not going to bet this one, but I would take the Baltimore if I had to.
Yeah, again, this is a familiarity game. It's a game where we know these teams. Harbaugh's still a good coach. Okay, he knows Pittsburgh. He knows what the Steelers like to do. He'll be prepared for them. At the same time, Tomlin knows the Ravens, and he knows what the Ravens can be vulnerable to, and he'll devise a game plan that tries to take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's not going to concede. In fact, let's see. What did you talk about rushing?
Since week 9, the second half of the season.
Who? Baltimore's what now?
Baltimore's number 1 against the run since the week 9.
I have games 1 through 8 and 9 through 16.
Okay.
Baltimore rather. Let's see. They have allowed 90 yards per game in half 2 after allowing 124 in the first few weeks, and they are one of 5 teams allowing roughly 90 yards per game, between 85 and 100 yards per game. So, I could see numbers supporting that. They've improved by 34 yards per game over the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
let me see what
got healthy.
Yeah, let me see if I have yards per rush.
Mm-hmm.
They have improved by looks like 0.6 of a yard versus what they allow. And 0.6 is a nice number because you're talking about like for 4.6 versus 4.0 or something like that, whatever the number is.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
As opposed to as opposed to a very slight improvement in running the football. That
Hmm.
slight improvement, 0.09, and that probably came from Derrick Henry's performance last week,
Probably. Yeah, I would
where he
say
ran
so.
for 216. So
Yeah, yeah, it was phenomenal. So, well, it's a good time. It's a good time in the year to know that he is able to run in the second
yeah,
half.
he's always been able to.
You're right,
I I,
but
I still
legally,
don't know. I don't know that people are talking about Harbaugh's job possibly being on the line,
hmm
and if it is, it's because the owner would say, "What happened to Derrick Henry in the second half of games when he's usually his strongest?
yeah.
Why did it
It,
take you to week 17?"
Yeah, I think if he were to get fired, it would be like Andy Reid, where Reid immediately found a new job right away. I think if John
Yeah,
Harbaugh wanted to coach next year, he would
I
be
think
hired right
Tomlin
away.
is. I think Tomlin's the same way.
Uh, I heard rumors that the Jets were going to try to trade for Tomlin, so he may not even be fired. He may be
Yeah, well, you
traded.
know what? Maybe they'll trade one of the draft choices they got in the trade with Dallas and the Colts.
Yeah,
That would be the Jet stupidity.
it, it certainly would.
You'd be
I'm
you'd be trading for either a coach that can't win playoff games in Tomlin,
yeah,
or a coach who can't win playoff games, or give the ball to his best running back in the fourth quarter.
right, right.
That's the kind of trade the Jets make.
Yes, I know. I heard second round pick, so it wouldn't be
No,
quite
the
the pick.
Jets would throw in a second round pick in addition to the first round pick.
Right here. Here's oh, you want a second? No, we're giving our first. Here's our second too.
They would somehow go for Mike Lombardi as a coach because of the last name.
Oh my God,
He's been he's general manager and everything, but he's no Vince.
no,
And
definitely not.
I like what he does. I like a lot of that he does stuff on VEASAN and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
But that's the kind of franchise the Jets are.
yeah. I like me back in the day, talking like '06, '05.
Yeah.
I actually emailed him, and he got back to me, with pretty quickly. I forget what I emailed him about, but I was just getting started. I was like entering my journalism career, and because
Mm.
he was doing a lot of podcasts back then. Well, I guess he still is now, but he was on Bill Simmons's podcast. So I emailed him, and he responded pretty quickly. So I like that. I thought that was nice. So
Yeah.
it's the only
No,
interaction I ever had with him.
again, this is a play. Just and again, Aaron Rodgers can make plays. He's still got savvy. Um, and again, these teams know so much about each other that again, both teams are missing players. I think clearly. And look, Baltimore again, even though they would possibly start Huntley versus Jackson, if they start Huntley, I still give Aaron Rodgers a bit of an edge there. Now,
Yeah,
as far as the receivers that he has, you got Flowers on Baltimore. He's probably better than anyone the Steelers have right now.
yeah.
The running back is probably much better,
hmm
but
And the Steelers are they give
yeah,
up the third most production to tight ends, and so
yeah,
Andrews and Likely would fare well
yeah,
as well. So
yeah. I can make cases against both teams.
I think you can too.
But when
I
in
could
when
too.
in when in
So
doubt, I'm at home getting 3.5, and other players step up.
hmm
Because remember,
maybe
these teams, and we've said it before. You play most games right around your average. Some you play considerably above. Some games you play considerably below. But you never play at your average.
hmm
Okay, so in other words, maybe Pittsburgh plays a little bit better than average, and Baltimore plays a little bit below their average, and sort of instead of being 24-14, scores 17-16, something like that.
yeah, right.
Especially
Yeah,
especially because especially because there are no secrets between these teams.
yeah, and obviously they know each other very well. So as do almost teams in Week 18.
Well,
They're all
yeah,
division
because
games.
they're all division
hmm
games. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
Okay. Yeah. So
it's a moderate play for me. If at 3, I probably pass on the game.
okay. Yeah. I'm on Baltimore for office pool purposes, but not betting the game. So
Yeah.
let's say you have a stronger opinion than I do on this game.
And again,
So
I'd like to see Baltimore win.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Future that, but because it's kind of like the effort against New England.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know how you rate New England and Pittsburgh when you take into account the schedule that New England has played, because they are relatively inexperienced team,
Hmm.
but Vrabel's probably getting as much out of this team that any coach could.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And by the
I
way,
think so
the
too. Yeah,
season win totals I think for both of these teams was 8.5.
yeah, that makes
I know it
sense.
was for New England. What was it for Pittsburgh? Let me see if I can find that here.
I don't know what it was for Pittsburgh. It was 8.5 for Pittsburgh. I know that because my father-in-law made the bet. It's the only
Oh,
bet he
okay,
makes
yeah.
every year. Yeah, it's the only bet he makes every year, and he's
And he
never
cashes
lost.
every year, right? Yeah.
Every year, every single year he cashes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
show the total was 8.5 plus 110, at
Hmm.
least at Westgate. When
Yep.
this book was put together. So, and clearly New England overachieved relative to the 8.5, but how much of it was due to the schedule versus Pittsburgh? I think did New England play a fourth place schedule this year? I think they did.
Yeah, New England did. Yeah.
And
Is it?
Pittsburgh played what, a second place schedule, because I think Baltimore won the division last year.
Yeah, and yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, well, there
Yeah.
was in the playoffs, but not the divisional winner. So
No, was Baltimore? Who? Pittsburgh won? No, Pittsburgh
yeah,
did
Pittsburgh
not win
was
the
in the
division.
playoffs. Yeah, Pittsburgh was in the
They were in the
playoffs last
playoffs,
year,
but
but Baltimore won the division.
yeah,
Yeah,
they were in the playoffs.
yeah.
Pittsburgh,
Well, they play each other in the first
but
round.
Baltimore won the division.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
play they
yeah,
play
that's
each
what
other
I'm
in the
saying. So
first round, and yeah, Baltimore crushed
yeah,
them.
yeah. So well, one of them had to win the game.
Yeah,
And not a
that's
surprise that it was Baltimore, but
yeah,
I could see Baltimore winning this game, but this is clearly not the same Baltimore team that they were last year. Pittsburgh's
yeah,
pretty much the
absolutely.
same as they were last year. I think it's the same record, didn't they?
And what's funny is that they're kind
Or
of the same.
maybe they were 10-7 last year, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think they were, and they're kind of the same right now as they were when they didn't have George Pickens last year, because
Yeah, yeah.
when they didn't,
They were 10-8, so they were 10-7 regular season, as they were the year before.
when they didn't have Pickens last year, they had nothing going offensively,
Yeah,
and this is the same thing. No Metcalf, they have no other weapons, which kind of it made me so frustrated when they traded away Pickens, because I thought, okay, now they have Metcalf and Pickens. Like this offense could be great, even if
yeah.
Rodgers is not is not the same quarterback as he once was. Like they'd have like two number ones, but then they traded Pickens. So and now they're in the same spot as they were last year without Pickens. No Metcalf. So at least for this game.
Yeah, let me just see what my and again, obviously Metcalf makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see the numbers, defensive numbers. Pittsburgh is comparable on a lot of these numbers, but of course we're talking about full roster. But we got you mentioned Watt being out as well, but Baltimore, yeah, they still have the number one rushing game. Both teams are very good. They're above average, not by a lot, but both average against the. They're both against the run. They're both allowing 245 yards per game passing. The Pittsburgh pass attack slightly better than Baltimore. Neither of them is. In fact, they're both below 200 yards per game. Pittsburgh at 197, Baltimore 173. The league average is 211, so that's a considerable.
Right.
That's 10-15% below the league average. Let me just check yards per play, yards per rush. Baltimore with a slight edge on offense, Pittsburgh with a slight edge on defense. Overall, Baltimore is plus 0.2 yards per play, Pittsburgh minus 0.1. Let's see, yards rushing, Baltimore much better. Numbers are even, yards per rush defense. Pass completion, Baltimore better. Defensive, Pittsburgh better, but not by as much better against the pass completion as Baltimore is in offensive ability. I guess the one significant edge, if you want to call that, Baltimore -2 in turnovers, Pittsburgh +11.
Yeah, I mean that's a big difference there. So,
yeah, and one turnover could be the difference between a 10-point game and a 3-point game.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't know that. You don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, one thing I do. I talk about turnover margin, and we obviously the two best teams as far as defensive turnovers this year are Jacksonville and Chicago, and there's no surprise that they both have nice winning records. I want to see if I can find out where it is here. Okay, the raw numbers. I like to look at teams that don't turn the ball over, and I think that Baltimore and Pittsburgh are. I don't know. Pittsburgh is actually much better. I thought they were closer. Baltimore's lost 22 turnovers. Pittsburgh 15. So that's about a half a turnover a game difference between what they lose. So maybe that's an additional, possession, but that's also made up for by the fact that there's the difference in the turnover margin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not all due to offensive giveaways, but when you look at the number of takeaways, that half turnover comes into place because Pittsburgh's forced 26, Baltimore 20. So turnovers could be a play. The other thought there is, let's see how because Pittsburgh has no running game. They are 26th, 140 yards per game. And Baltimore, of course, number one at 158. So what that does is that might lower the possessions. And, one of the strategies is which team is going to play to win, if either, as opposed to which team is going to play not to lose. So if you get the lead, do you protect the lead by running the football? Baltimore is much better at that.
Yep. Well, now certainly they are now.
Yeah.
which maybe they weren't before. But yeah.
Well, I think what Pittsburgh's going to have to do is they're going to have to use the short pass to compensate for the lack of a running game.
Yeah, well, they don't have a long pass.
No, they don't. I'm saying, but they're not going to be able to run the ball. So if they're looking to take time off the clock, they're going to have to go for those 3 to 5 yard passes.
Oh yeah,
or 5 to 7 yard passes if you want to make first downs.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Gainwell's going to
3 yard passes first down, unless there's
yeah. I'm sure
Gainwell's plenty of action.
Gainwell will catch 6, 7, 8 passes in this game. So that's something to look at for props.
I was just going to say for props that might be a good overplay. What's his total going to be, like 4.5, 5.5?
Probably 4.5. Yeah, I'll say.
So, So again, it'll be a fun game to watch because there's so much on the line for both teams. Like I say, it's a modest bet for me. And again, but like I say, it would almost certainly be a no bet if the line is 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Being a field goal game.
Yeah, I would much like Baltimore a lot more at -3. So 3.5 is a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Pittsburgh kicker has not been up to his usual standards.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Walter. Can you believe that Sal Vetri won his fantasy chip? Well, who is he playing against? Like, it's like 2-year-old cousins. So he's the one. Sal Vetri. He made he became famous this summer by saying, "Avoid Jackson Smith and Jigba at all costs in fantasy." So, not very good there. Anyway, Andy,
that's like in Circa if you're going for the booby prize. That was good advice.
that's what he's going for. All right, Andy, great doing the show with you in the regular season. Can't wait for the playoffs. Do you want to talk about thelogicalapproach.com before we head out?
Not much to say because I'm really not doing much now that football winds down. Okay. I mean, I'm doing basketball and all that, but that's a different sport.
Is that on the site as well, the basketball?
I don't believe I have anything up there yet.
But will there be? Will there be?
Probably. There'll be something up there. I haven't done the daily picks for a while. I've just been so busy. But now that football is winding down, I mean, I've been following and playing some basketball, but not to the extent that I will be, basically beginning next year, which is tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait. Going to have some NBA picks as well on the site. Usually wait till the regular season's over, which, it will be on Monday. So can't wait for that.
Sunday night, yeah. I used to try and get involved early, and it had modest success, but it was just taking so much time away from everything else that I needed to take a little bit of a break. So my concession was I'll wait to start hockey and basketball seriously after the first of the year, but I keep with them, in the intervening, November and December, October with hockey too. So.
Yeah. I can't I can't focus on basketball or anything else. I wish the NBA would start their season on Christmas, just betting wise.
Yeah, I would too. Of course, then you'd be playing into July. But then again, if you're not starting until Christmas,
right.
you'd still have, you know, September, October, November off. You know, if the playoffs ended in the
Mhm.
middle of July.
Yeah,
So,
and yeah, because the middle of July you really have nothing going on except for baseball.
well,
So
baseball, yeah.
baseball and golf, so why not? So
No, baseball's an everyday sport, so
yeah,
that takes up a
yeah,
lot of time just to to handicap 15 games a day. On
yeah. It's
um,
such a
on,
grind.
on
I couldn't
Friday,
do it.
Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesdays, and a combination of Wednesdays and Thursdays.
It's such a grind. Like I tried to do it one year, and I was like, I just got burnt out by the football season. I was like,
Yeah,
I need the time off during the summer, so I just
you need to
stopped doing
recharge,
it.
and
Yeah,
also the other thing is, um, and it's not bad that they don't play the NBA up. That the NBA ends when it does in early to mid June.
that's
That's when you're
true. Yeah,
preparing for football.
yeah, exactly. That's true.
So if you're betting
Well,
basketball every day or baseball now as well, that's taking away from football preparation time.
I take it back. We keep the NBA schedule as it is. So,
Yeah.
all right. So that's it for
Although
tonight.
I would
Yeah,
like the NBA to have control of Christmas Day, and
me
I
too.
did see what the ratings were for those three Christmas games, and I hope they were horrible.
I hope they were too. Yeah, I agree. I think
I
the
hope they
NBA
were
should be crazy.
horrible on two fronts. Number one, going up against the NBA and taking away the attention from people who've been, waiting for they started putting out lines 2 months ago for those Christmas
Hmm.
Day games, and everyone was looking at those matchups. And number two, the Christmas games. Hey, Merry Christmas! Your Christmas present is you got to get a subscription to Netflix and Prime to watch them.
Right.
Merry Christmas,
Ratings were
Roger.
incredible.
Roger, yeah, well, not surprised. I mean, they probably outdid the NBA
Yeah.
because it's the NFL. But Roger Grinch Goodell.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, he doesn't like me either.
I know
So
he doesn't like you, but I mean
yeah.
that and his garbage about player safety. If they do
Yeah.
not go to 2 buys when they expand the schedule to 18, then you know it's all bullshit.
Oh, of course it is. They don't
You know,
care.
I
They
mean we
they
know it
they
is now, but
they want to
Roger,
say that.
we
Yeah.
give you a little bit more integrity if you came out. You know what? We know you're going 18 games, but don't tell us this for any other reason than the money.
Yeah, well, they want it. They need to say that they care so they don't get sued, but they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't think they could. The problem is that they say they care, but their actions show otherwise. And if I'm a
Hmm.
good lawyer for the plaintiffs, which in this case would be the Players Association, for example,
Yeah.
although of course it would be collectively bargained, so at some point they would make some sort of deal. But if I'm a good lawyer, I would say, well, Mr. Goodell, here's a list of all the statements you've made about player safety dating back to the time you became commissioner in 2006 or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. Here's what's happened to injuries as a result of the measures that you have instituted since 2006. The Monday night doubleheaders, the Thursday night games, the scheduling, the international travel, blah, 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 blah. Here's what's happened to injuries in the number of years that have been there. So just come out and say, hey, we are in business to make money just like everybody else is, and we have an opportunity. The fans are still going to love the game. We always hear things. We wish football were year round. We're not quite making it year round, but we are expanding it. And yes, we get a great monetary benefit. And what's wrong with that? This is the American.
No.
I have no problem with that. If he comes out
Um.
and says that,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I look. Yeah. Be truthful, I guess. But I mean, it won't help him in court if he did that. So, but I do get. I mean, a good lawyer, I agree, should be able to find a way around that.
yeah.
Uh.
It's there's nothing wrong with making money.
Yeah. There was.
Just don't try to say, oh, well, there's also a good side to it when the good side to it is as bad as this one is.
Mm,
Just say,
yeah.
yes, we realize that that there are injury risks with all the things we're doing, and we're doing a lot to minimize or deal with those injury risks. But the football, by its nature, is going to be a game that has injuries. And yes, there will now be more opportunities, but we're paying much more attention than we ever have in the past. We're devoting more resources to research and things like that. So yeah, we're making more money, but we're also putting more back into seeing what we can do with injuries.
Hmm.
That's what he should be saying.
Yeah.
Because there'll still be people who will disagree with all of that, but at least he's coming forward and saying, yeah, of course there's money involved, but we're also doing things. Now, maybe we can disagree with a lot of the things that he's doing, as we've talked about before, like the scheduling of teams playing 4 days later. How is that helping players' safety? It isn't.
No,
And
it's not.
everybody knows it isn't. So maybe
Right.
you institute what we said, you know what? Why don't you have more Monday night doubleheaders early and late in the season and cut out Thursday night games?
Yeah.
Or what we've talked about, you give Thursday night games and then they are off the following, they are off the following week, or they
Right.
come
Or
follow. They
off
are
the bye. Yeah.
they're off the bye week, because obviously they would have the extra time. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was bye week. You play on Thursday night because you've already had your 10 days rest, and you're gonna have 10 more days of rest. Okay, so you
Yeah.
do that. You have the buys up. I said do it by division, so all 4 teams have bye games, and maybe even make all 4 teams play division games following the bye. That way, you
Yeah.
cut out 8 weeks of the 18-week schedule of or you have Thursday night doubleheaders for 8 weeks. Okay, so there's your 16 games, and so you don't have Thursday night games. Let's say weeks 1 through 8 and 9 through 18.
Yeah. I think they absolutely have to do that. I think that'd be such a good benefit for us. So yeah, Evan's saying
And by the way,
we missed
in addition
live
to
betting
everything else,
the Wolves Nuggets game. Yeah, it's brutal.
the play on the field would be better if you did that.
Yeah, because the games are terrible usually on the
Yeah.
Thursday games.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
it
there
would
are
benefit
exceptions.
everyone.
I mean that Rams Seattle game was great, but that's the exception
Mhm.
more often than the rule.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have some great games, but a lot
Yeah.
of bad games too. It's a bad product overall.
And they ought to do a little bit better job of flexing late season games. I mean, I know there's complications with travel arrangements and hotel arrangements and things like that to play night games when you
Mhm.
were originally scheduled for a day game, but you would have better games. For example, they could have done a better job than the games we had Saturday
Well, Christmas too. Yeah, Christmas was
and
awful.
Christmas. Yeah. Well, yeah, Saturday's games I don't think were bad. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Chargers Houston game,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
Thursday schedule and the Saturday schedule, you probably can have a game flexed a month in advance, and maybe you don't start it until like week 12, okay?
Hmm.
Because by then you know that the certain teams that you like, the Commanders, were not going to be contenders.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you schedule them out.
Yeah.
And you don't move the game, but now it inconveniences the fans, of those things. Like, okay, we were planning our wedding for that Sunday because we knew we were playing Sunday night or something like that. And now you got to change it to a 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific game. There's always you're not gonna please everybody. Abe Lincoln was right. You can't please everyone, you can't fool everyone, but you can fool some of the people some of the time, and please some of the people some of the time. But they could do so much to make the game much more appealing. Now they don't have to worry because they've got the Commanders. It's what we used to call the Vanderbilt Commodores. We now call them the Commanders. Yeah. I still call them the Commanders because I don't want to misannounce the team I'm betting on the betting board. They have that now. A couple of places here in Vegas have now gone to number-free betting. You just mentioned the team you want.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, give me the Commanders. Give me the Ravens. College football. Give me the Tigers. Which one? There are 6 of them. It's a stupid move. Numbers are easy to understand. You can't make a mistake on the computer if you type in 123 as opposed to Tigers. Okay, do you want the Auburn Tigers? Do you want the Clemson Tigers? Do you want the LSU Tigers? But people who make some of these decisions are idiots. You know why? Because they think of it as a programming exercise, and they don't consider the user of the people who use it from either behind the counter or in front of the counter. They don't, and I'm just using sportsbook, but in almost anything that they do with computers, the people who write the code do not use the product.
Right.
Because you see so many obvious things that said, how could they have thought of this? It made sense. And some people do it because they have to just justify their job. Well, things are great, but let's see if we can tinker with it and make it better, even though we know that ultimately it'll be worse.
Yeah, you shouldn't make things worse, but that happens a lot, fortunately. Yeah, shame on anyone planning a wedding during the NFL season. I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, I'll tell you what though. That tells you who's going to be the head of the household once they're married.
That's true. I one of my friends, he had his wedding. Not, I mean, he's an Eagles fan. Not only on a football Sunday, but when the Eagles were playing on a Sunday night against the Giants, he had his
Yeah.
wedding.
Oh,
And
are they still
he got
married?
nope.
Okay. How long did it
There,
take? One football season?
not quite. How long did it take? They got married in 2011, and they got divorced in 2019. So it took
Okay.
eight years. 8 years.
Hopefully he got to keep the TVs. But another question I have that nobody's been able to answer: we can put a man on the moon and return him to Earth.
Hmm.
Okay. We can see people in the 14th century build buildings,
Yep.
8, 9, 10 stories that still last to this day. But we can't create something to avoid potholes in roads in less than 6 months.
I
Someone
don't.
explain that.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, because remember, oh well, you got erosion. Hey, you got erosion on those buildings from the 14th century too. In fact, you've had
Yeah.
600 years of it.
Oh yeah. I think we've gotten dumber recently. I don't like. Yeah, we used to go to the moon, and like, why haven't we gone to the
Yeah,
moon? Why haven't we gone to Mars?
there was nobody
Uh,
there to greet us,
that's true.
supposedly. You know,
That's true.
but no, no. I mean, I have to believe that it's probably some businesses who probably say, well, you know what, we have. Yeah, that's the answer. Unions
Yes.
who
Yes.
they probably know they probably have products that can be, you know, I won't say pothole proof entirely, but they could last at least 2 or 3 years.
Hmm.
I've seen places they're filling in roads all the time here, and I see potholes in the same place at the same size, so they don't do a very good job, And it's so, but I mean, you'd like to think that they could do it because it's not so much the potholes. I mean, that's part of it, but the time that it takes and the inconvenience it provides everybody when you're going 3 lanes into one during rush hour.
Yeah, there's so I-95 is here, and I remember this like vividly. My dad was taking me and my sister to seeing a Sixers Bucks game, and I was in high school, so this was in the late '90s, and
Hmm.
there's a stretch of I-95 that had construction, and my dad said, Walter, they've done construction here for 10, 15 years. They're going to keep doing this for 10 or 15 more years. And in fact, I think they're probably never going to finish in my lifetime. And I was like, why? And he's like, because the mafia is involved in this. And so right now we were going down to I-95 today,
Hmm.
going to the Sahara Sam's. They still have the same construction in the same area. They have they've not ended this construction since I was 16. This is almost 30 years later. They still have the same construction in the
I
same
have no
area.
problem with the construction when they're doing improvements,
Yeah,
widening lanes, making them
right.
safer, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they haven't done
Yeah,
anything.
Evan is right. The money is in the medicine, not the cure. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They haven't done anything. They haven't improved the road at all. They've
Yeah.
made no changes.
Yeah.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's
And
unbelievable.
it's just why when they're going to work on a mile and a half stretch of highway, they have to have those cones up the entire month of the entire mile and a half.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
as opposed to the quarter mile that they're working on today and tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah,
Van Wyck
yeah,
Expressway.
yeah. It's the same. It's probably the
Yeah,
mafia's
I know
involved or
where
something
that
like
is.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen that all the
uh,
time. I
yeah.
think on
We
Vegas, I think we're worse so here in Vegas.
yeah. We it's pretty frustrating. So I don't know.
Well, it was
I don't know what you
just
can
a
do about it.
question as to why now they say okay we're going to have a policy for safety or whatever that we're going to repave roads every few years. That's
Hmm.
fine, but
Right.
don't make the repavement because of potholes. Make the repavement because of usage, oil leakage or whatever the case may be. You can understand why roads need to be repaved, and those are the same jobs that um, fill the potholes. So,
Hmm.
but
Yep.
you know. Or go find out what the secret was from the people who built those buildings in the 1400s.
Unfortunately, all that's probably gone. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, you wonder what they had no technology as far as we know how they built the pyramids.
pyramid. I was just about to say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like we couldn't do that now, but
that's
and
that's
yet
a
they did. Yet they did it back then. So
you
somehow.
know, yeah. I mean, you Yeah, the people to, yeah, how do you carry those 1 ton bricks up to the top of the pyramid
Right.
and put it in place? And then you got to make room to put the entrance there so you can bury all the people who were dying there and buried in the all the pharaohs and everything.
Yep. It's crazy.
So
It's
it
absolutely
it
crazy.
really is a remarkable feat of on I can't say modern ingenuity, ancient ingenuity that got all that
Mhm.
stuff done, and how so many of them have weathered literally and figuratively, all the elements of nature for thousands of years in some cases.
Mhm. Yep.
So
Yeah. It's
we're just stuck here picking Week 18 football games.
you know,
That's fine though.
trying to decide who's going to be motivated in these games. So,
Yeah, we have no, we
uh,
have no, we have no way of knowing, and we'll all know after. Well, we won't know after the fact, but we can reason after the fact that such and such team was not there to play their best. And look, the Jets could surprise us. I don't think
yeah,
so, but they could.
they could.
Buffalo's not invincible. This
Yeah.
is not Buffalo's strongest team of the last 5 years.
Yeah, and especially with Allen being out. So, yeah, they
Well, even with Allen in there, I mean, he's having a real good year, but the defense, hasn't been up to past years.
yeah, Matt Milano has just not been healthy this year at all. So, I
Yeah.
thought eventually he might
What's
get
his
healthy and
what's his status now? Is he showing up on the injury report or?
no, he's just not playing well. He's just hurt. He
Yeah,
has to be. I mean, he's not
he's
like an
not
old player.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not an old player. There's no reason for him to regress like that. So,
yeah,
all right, we're at 3.5 hours. I think
yeah.
it's
We're a half hour to midnight here.
yeah. I don't know if you wanted to sign off. If you wanted to do something for New Year's, wanted to watch the ball drop, like you said. So, all right, Andy.
No,
Another
no.
yeah.
I would watch it if there was something wrong with the ball dropping in Times Square, like it froze in the middle of the drop. I'd watch the replay.
I know, me too.
But
I don't get how people stay out there.
oh
But
no,
yeah.
we will actually be having fireworks, and I think the wind conditions are such that they should go off well. So they will be
Okay.
having a nice fireworks display on the strip that they usually show for 10, 15 minutes at
Okay.
at midnight. So I'll watch that, and I'll watch that because it may put me to sleep. Like maybe the which game would it be on Sunday? It'd probably be the Kansas City Vegas game. Might put me to
Yeah.
sleep, which is down the road here. So
Exactly. All right. All right, Andy. Another great episode.
I want to
Can't
wish
wait.
everybody a happy,
Yeah.
healthy, blessed and prosperous and fulfilling year come up in 2026, and we all have a lot of fun, a lot of profit,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of good food,
Yep.
a lot of bad jokes, and a lot of good information being passed back and forth.
Mm, yeah.
That's the great thing about what we do with the handicapping and debating. We all have different ways that
Yeah.
work. What works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for Evan. What works for Evan may not work for somebody else. And sometimes there's a lot of overlap. One thing I've
Hmm.
learned is you never stop learning, and
That's
that's a
true.
good
Yeah.
thing.
That's
You
true.
know, I mean, I read everything I can. All the books. I still have a book that I have here. I think I may have mentioned it from 1978, one of the earliest books on betting pro football. Yeah, and there's also the National Football Lottery that Larry Merchant wrote probably
Hmm.
about the same time, which is a fun read where he goes through the season and all that. And I like the fact that we will win Survivor in 2026. Evan, 10 entries, yeah, sure. I mean,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it's just, there are going to be upsets that are going to eliminate a lot of people. It's just a question of avoiding them because you don't know when they're going to come. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you could anticipate it, you don't. But some of these upsets, I'll still go back to the one that I got on, and I think a lot of us did, and that's the Arizona Tennessee game.
Mm,
Could Tennessee beat Arizona? It was unlikely, but not impossible. But would Tennessee beat Arizona the way they did? That's unlikely. That's going to happen
yeah.
in some games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's Tropic of Capricorn. What's that in reference to?
That's the book that you're referencing, or I think. Not
I don't
sure.
know. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm talking about like handicapping betting techniques and all that. I'm
Hmm.
trying to remember that book. Um, Now this was called Beating the Spread, I think, by a couple of writers. Gerald Strine, I remember, is that one. Um, there were a couple of other books over the years that I have going back.
Yeah.
50 years. Yeah, book from 78. Yeah, but I don't remember. I don't remember if that was about betting. Tropic of Capricorn.
Oh, Seinfeld
Oh,
reference.
Seinfeld reference. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, we make money on every entry. Arizona losing Tennessee made me thousands. Live 15-1
yeah.
and multiple team totals and Titans. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can hedge it properly, yeah. Why not? Why not max enter it? So,
Yeah.
uh, do you suspect they're going to have more than 10 entries per customer next year? Do you think they'll expand it to like 15, 20?
Uh, I don't know because I think they really wanted and thought they had a chance for a good time this year. May still get it. I doubt it though. I think they really want one person to have won the 18 million.
Yeah, that's true. What are there?
So
6 people left?
there are 6 people left. Yeah, 3 were eliminated when Tampa Bay
Yeah,
lost to Miami. After 9 survived Christmas because one guy lost on Washington.
yeah.
Apparently, there was one guy who. Oh yeah, they'll get at least 20 million next year. They may get 25 million. I don't know if they. So if you increase the number of entries that any individual can have, that increases the likelihood of multiple winners.
Hmm.
Okay, because someone now has 15 chances rather than 10. So it's a trade-off between, do we want to increase the chances for one winner versus do we want to have as big a pot as possible? I could see it both ways. I think ultimately wanting to have as large a prize as possible
Yeah.
has to take risky. I think they're all well. I don't know. Maybe you could say Denver's not risky. New England isn't risky. The Rams probably aren't
Someone has
risky.
Jacksonville still left, I think.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I wonder if someone would take Chicago. I
Yeah.
saw 1 or 2 people have that left.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I think they want as big a pot as possible. If they, I mean, and I look at it this way. And you know what? You know how they can defend having as big a pot as possible? We make more millionaires that way. It's a
That's
simple
true.
sell.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
a simple sell. We'd love to give away 50 million. We give it away to 10 people. That's 5 millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would at
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So as I can understand that. So I don't know if they would expand. We have as proxies for people who do a lot of multiple entries for people. Derek has a luncheon usually in early April, where he invites all the major proxies in town. I'm included in that group. I'm not the major one, of course, but I'm still included because many multiple entries. And we have discussions. What's the feedback from your clients as far as what would they like to see changed about it and all that? And we always come up with different suggestions, some of which have been implemented. See, because the other way that they could increase the chance of a single winner is you have multiple weeks where you have more than just like more split weeks like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know how you would necessarily do that, or you have a requirement that you have to play one Thursday night and one Monday night game a year. You have your choice.
Right.
Which would increase the chances that more people would eliminate it along the way. At the other time, by putting in more restrictions, you might discourage more people from entering the contest because they say, "Oh, wait a minute! As it is, we got to choose from 3 games on Christmas and 4 games on Thanksgiving or whatever."
Or you could do it how we do it on our site on our survivor
Yeah.
contest. Is the tiebreaker
What's
would
that?
be the tiebreaker is a margin of victory of the teams you picked.
Yeah, you could do that,
Yeah.
but I would. You know what? You might do that if the contest ended early. I think you should get or and again, it sort of goes against the purpose of it. Let's say you've got 5 people tied.
Yeah.
So maybe everybody gets something, but the guy who has, let's say, the biggest margin of victory gets 50% of the pot, and everybody else gets 12.5%, which would be
Yeah.
the other 50.
Yeah.
But
That
it's
could
not the
work.
same. I think the thought of or, and this would probably do it, you extend the contest through the playoffs.
Mm. Now, would you get every team back? I would assume. I would assume you would, right? For the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yeah, you would start
Yeah.
over.
Okay. Okay. That'd be so difficult if you didn't have
Yeah.
the playoff teams. You know.
Yeah.
Um.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have
You imagine
nobody would probably have more than one or two teams that they didn't use that
well,
has
like
made the
the
playoffs.
one guy who was Jacksonville this week. You
Yeah.
would have to save Jacksonville for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
Well, there are people who wouldn't have anybody available. 14.
right.
Remember, you're using 20 teams. That means there are
Yeah.
only 12 that you aren't using, and 14 make the playoffs.
Exactly.
So by definition, you'd have two teams at least that you didn't use.
Yeah. That would be so difficult if
So
you had
that
to
be,
do that.
but I mean that would be a now what you might do, and this is possible. Okay, you could say, okay, if you go 20-0, you each get $100,000, but the rest of the pool will go through the playoffs.
Right. Okay.
You get rewarded for having a perfect regular season.
Mm-hmm. Or like Evan was saying, you take 10% out of the pod, divided those
I
into
see
14. The
yeah,
Christmas.
you could do that.
Yeah. I like that.
I don't know that I would necessarily take 10%, but maybe you give them $100,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't have to be 10%, it could be
10%. Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
suppose you could do that if you did 10% because if 10% in this case would be 1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there were 180 people in the pot. What would they each get? A lot.
Yeah. DraftKings. Yeah.
What's that? DraftKings. What's the reference?
I'm not sure. I still have entries alive in my DraftKings Survivor, which is a lot easier because we don't have to pick Christmas or Thanksgiving slates.
Yeah. Well, it could be an amount. It could be something like $5,000, where you're not going to deplete a great deal of the pool at Thanksgiving when you're down to 500 people or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, I would still prefer if you make it through the regular season, or maybe if you make it, you have maybe certain milestones along the way. Maybe if you make it through half the season, 10 contest weeks, you get your you would get your okay. Evan says they lose 90% other pools. Number one, what are the prizes in the other pools? What numbers do they get as far as what's the prize pool like a Survivor pool that you guys may be on elsewhere?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, are you in any large Survivor pools?
Just the DraftKings one.
What's the entry fee on that one?
$10.
Okay, well, I'm talking. What's the? I'm talking about prize pools where they would have the same entry fee as say Circa would.
Well, I'd say that the prize money for that $10 contest is $1.2 million. That's
how many people are entered.
I will check right now because I know there are 877 people still alive in it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, roughly. I mean,
yeah. Hold on, I'll look.
I mean, we had 18,000 in this pool, which obviously would be different if it was a $10 entry fee versus a $1,000 entry fee. Yeah, 180,000.
There were 149,000 people in this. So 877 still alive.
So what? That's 1.49 million. $10 an entry fee.
Yeah, and they're offering $1.267 million. So
they're taking a take out of it.
Yeah, they're taking. They're taking.
So it's already a negative game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
As opposed to Circa, where 100% goes back.
Right. Yeah, Circa's definitely a better contest. This is $10. It's just
no. But I'm just saying, because everyone says if they did playoffs, they would lose 90% to other pools. Well, that's where I'm saying that if you achieve, like, let's say, if you make it through 10 weeks, you get $1,000. You get your entry fee back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now because remember, we're dealing this year with an $18 million prize pool, as opposed to the what do you call it? The 18 million at what the percentage would be. As far as I don't remember how many people there, but let's say you give $1,000, you get your entry fee back if you make it through 10 weeks. You get,
Yeah.
say, another $1,000 if you make it to Thanksgiving. Another $1,000 if you got made it to Christmas. Then maybe you get
Yes.
$5,000 back if you made it through 20 weeks, and then you go through the playoffs. And yes, yeah, everybody starts again.
Um, yeah, it would be. I don't think I'd like to see the playoff idea, but maybe it could work. What did you still think the Bills could go the 3 games in the playoffs and win? Allen's ankle could be an issue. Yeah, look, he's going to get a week off this week. I don't think he's going to play, so that'll help. By the way, you sound terribly sick. I'm a little sick. I'm not going to say I'm
I
terribly
couldn't
sick,
tell
but
anything. The only thing I could tell earlier was I didn't have your volume up enough. Now, I
oh
mean, now
yeah,
everything's fine. But
yeah.
well,
No, I mean,
that's why that line went from 4 from rather from what was it, 14 down to where it is now.
yeah, exactly. So no, my kids get sick all the time, and so like sometimes I get some, sometimes
Yeah.
I don't. But yeah, that's what that's what happens, I guess. Like before I had kids, I went 6 years without getting sick once. And then I started getting sick like every 2 weeks because my kids always get something
Who's
for the
you
daycare.
know, you talk about Buffalo winning 3 games on the road, and we've seen
Yeah,
teams win 3 road games and make it to the
yeah, yeah,
Super
yeah,
Bowl before.
yeah.
It doesn't happen a lot, but really, when you think about it this year, it's really wide open.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
um, who's the 10% for whatever 180K? That's nothing out of about an $18 million. Um, oh, you're talking about 180,000 person? No, that'd be 10% for the entire gets split amongst the entire people who are left. But in any event,
yeah.
who's the team to beat this year in the
Uh,
AFC?
in the AFC, it's probably still the Bills, just because they have the most experience. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
would you give Jacksonville a chance? Houston a chance?
I bet Jacksonville to win at 20-1. I like the
Yeah,
chances. Yeah, so I think everyone except Pittsburgh would have a good chance to win if they got in. And I
yeah.
guess the Chargers because they can't block. But yeah, I mean, you still can't count out Harbaugh and Herbert. So, but I would say that they're on the lower end of it. So,
Uh,
um, yeah,
Patriots?
I think every team can win it except for the Steelers in the AFC. You know, the Steelers would be the only team that would shock me if they won.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would think that I mean I like this Houston team. You know, their defense is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, their defense is awesome. Yeah.
I like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville a lot. Yeah.
You know, you got a first-year head coach, done a great job with the quarterback who's playing like he was expected to play and
Hmm.
never materialized. And he clearly showed he has the talent to have been the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But like many quarterbacks, it takes coaching. I
Yeah.
always go back to Steve Young with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the 49ers and makes the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So and we've seen similar stories like that. Um, the NFC it's a little bit more difficult because I think you could make cases for a number of teams. I think you can make cases for the Rams. You can make it for Seattle. I think you still make it for Philadelphia. I
I
think you can still
yeah.
make it. I think you can make it for Chicago at this point.
I think you can make a case for everyone except for the NFC South winner and Green Bay.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can
Yeah, I
make it for
think
San Francisco.
yeah, I think every team's live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for those
So
two.
it's more. So I'll tell you what, it's interesting because I think they still have that advanced lineup for the Super Bowl. I'm not sure what it is right now, but maybe you would pick you might pick the AFC because whoever comes out of the AFC will have faced arguably weaker competition to make the Super Bowl than the winner of the NFC.
Yeah, I think NFC is -2.5. I looked at that
Yeah.
yesterday, I think. Yeah. Tries to defend severe cold and flu of Flonase. Yeah, I've been taking anything. It's not like that bad. It just I've definitely had worse recently.
Yeah.
This one's not too bad. So
Yeah, I let's see, what do we? Oh, we still got 10 minutes.
Oh, we're going to 4 hours.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go watch the.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go down to the convenience store and get something to eat.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll sign off. We'll sign off here.
We got
Got
anybody still watching?
we have 15 people on YouTube. We have one person on Twitch, and throughout the night we had 314.
What is Twitch?
That is Amazon's streaming
Oh,
service.
I thought it was Twitter, now known as X, combined into one word.
It'd be Twix, that's right? The Twix.
Yeah.
And throughout the night we had
Twix off our kids.
yeah, we had 314 people on X watching at some point during the night, but X does not tell you how many people are watching live, just how many people watch in general. So I appreciate you fighting through it, because thank you, Dom. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you as well. I saw that you wishing that earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, I always go live unless like it is like absolute severe. There's like one time I was like running in and out of the bathroom every 20 minutes. I'm like, there's no way I could do a show, but like I will.
Sure, you could. Sure, you could take the laptop, put a little table in front of the toilet, and
that'd be some interesting content.
Mute when you flush.
Right. That'd be some interesting content. Absolutely. I think we'd lose subs from that. But
no, if you muted all the time that you weren't talking and taking care of business, no one would notice.
Like, hey, watch this guy poop for three hours.
Unless they show the shower curtain behind you, as the backdrop.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with Evan. I'm not sure, Evan, what time we're going to go live, but we will go live at some point. The usual time is 10:30.
What do you mean you might not go? What do you mean you might not go live? You might.
Oh no, I don't know what time we go live.
Or something. Oh, what time? Yeah.
I don't know what time, because usually we go after the Thursday night game, but there is no Thursday night game this year.
There's a college game
this
tomorrow.
week. Right, but there's college games. Okay, we'll go after Georgia Ole Miss. Okay, unless it's a blowout or something, then maybe we'll go live in the fourth quarter.
I don't think Ole Miss will win that easily. Yeah, it'll be a fun game. No, it's a 5 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. So figure that game will probably go 3.5 hours.
Yeah, 11:30-ish. But yeah. If it's a blowout,
probably around midnight your time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, around the 11 o'clock hours. So
I will wish everybody also a very happy, healthy, prosperous, and fulfilling New Year.
Okay. Yeah, I want to echo that. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you have a great year. But yeah, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow to talk more week 18 NFL. And then on Friday, Tom will be back from his holiday travels. So,
and I'm sure I will be I'll be watching and listening tomorrow and working on some more snide comments to piss people off.
Those are always the best. So, all right, guys, have a great night. Have a happy New Year, and I will talk to you tomorrow.